Right, welcome everyone to another session of Crituitous RP. So, as we mentioned at the end of last week's episode, we have less players today. And as you guys know, our rule is if we have less players, we do a one-shot of some other kind. Today, in honor of Xanathar's Guide to Everything coming out yesterday and being released, we will be going through some character creation and creating a bunch of characters. By introduction and kind of as an explanation, the character creation is because once the players have finished and wrapped up their current campaign story, they will be transitioning onto adventuring through the Tomb of Annihilation adventure. So, as some of you may know from having seen other Tomb of Annihilation streams or having played it yourselves, creating characters for Tomb of Annihilation, it's a good idea to create backups, as Tomb of Annihilation has a tendency to claim the lives of a couple of the characters, especially early on. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through the entire process of creating a few characters each, and we're going to be using all of the content available to us, which will include Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Now, as the DM, I use D&D Beyond all the time. Absolutely all the time. Since it became released and I took the plunge and purchased the content on there, I've been using it ever since. It's a wonderful tool. I would definitely recommend checking it out. One of the greatest benefits to it is because these guys are my players, they have access to the content through me. So they will also be reading from the Xanathar's Guide, either physically or via D&D Beyond as well. Let's begin. Would you guys like to talk about some of the... I know each of you three have had a chance to look through Xanathar's Guide before. Are there any things that stand out to you as your favorite parts, or some of the things that you're most looking forward to trying out from the book?
I just found a spell, maybe an hour ago. What was it? The one with the Lumiere spell? What was it? Tiny Servant. Tiny Servant. That's what it was. That's what it was. And you take an object and you enchant it so that it sprouts arms and legs, and then it becomes your servant for an amount of time.
Nice.
That was glorious.
Who gets Tiny Servant? Is that in terms of what kind of wizards? I'm assuming it's a wizard.
It's very Fantasia-esque, so I want to say wizard and sorcerer and stuff.
Tiny Servant. It's a 3rd level spell. So wizards have it. That is it, actually. It's just wizards. Okay. Now, since you bring it up, Casey, I know Loic is a wizard. If Loic had access to the Tiny Servant spell, what would be the first thing he would do with it?
That's a good question. It depends, because usually he has to be fairly serious in order to deal with whatever catastrophe you threw at us that day, which is usually think on your feet quickly or die. So I guess if he had downtime, he'd probably just mess with people. He'd take the quills in people's pockets and make them alive, and then make them start messing with their faces and stuff.
Okay, so he'd start turning other people's belongings into his own tiny servants.
Yep.
Fair enough. On the topic of new spells, I've run a couple games, quite a few games on the weekend, and already I've had just turning the light. I've had one wizard play through a spell that is absolutely incredible and ridiculously, I don't want to say overpowered. It's well balanced for a 5th level spell, but it is the Steel Wind Strike. For those that don't know what Steel Wind Strike does, it is... Where is it? Okay. So you flourish the weapon used in the casting and then vanish to strike like the wind. Choose up to 5 creatures you can see within range. Make a melee spell attack against each target. On a hit, a target takes 6d10 force damage. You can then teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 5 feet of one of the targets you hit or missed. So in this example, this morning, I had a group of individuals facing off against an Elder Brain and a bunch of Illithids. And after they had been fighting a bunch, it's the last 5th level spell slot and pretty much the last spell this wizard has. He uses Steel Wind Strike. I hadn't realized he'd prepared it. I'd let him do so, so I didn't know that it was coming. He throws it in, bounces around, destroys all of the Illithids, and finishes stood next to the Elder Brain. Next turn, boom, Elder Brain is dead.
I bet he felt good.
It was a glorious end to a long battle that almost killed everyone. So, well done to him, and Steel Wind Strike is my current favorite spell from Xanathar's Guide.
Do you know why that's my current favorite spell?
What?
Because rangers get it.
See,
Yeah.
I think it's suboptimal on a ranger because it's a melee spell attack, which means you'll be exchanging your regular attack, which in your case is going to be a high dex, and instead using wisdom, which you might have a high wisdom, but that might...
It should be high anyway, so...
Which spell is that?
Same one.
Steel Wind. It's rangers and
Steel.
wizards.
Oh, no, yeah, so both of you get it. No.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Like, it's nice that rangers actually get some melee spells now, because previously most of their stuff was for range for archery. So that's kind of where I'm going. It's that and Zephyr Strike, which is a nice level 1 strike. Level 1.
I particularly like the fact that it is a melee attack, but it doesn't involve any sort of melee damage dice. So if we were to throw it into the Crituitous RP campaign and Eren were to take the 5th level, can Eren cast 5th level spells? No.
Eren's not really spec'd up as a... He's a base caster. Support magic is mainly there for his defense and stuff. He doesn't really use it offensively too often.
So even if Eren was did have it and was even still wielding Black Razor, the damage dealt by the weapon isn't part of the attack. It's only that 60-10, and it's force damage. So it's it wouldn't completely break you to have that spell already, which is...
No, the 60-10 on 5 targets is massive. So if you've got that high level, but the other one I really like is Zephyr Strike as a level 1, which is a really nice spell because it allows you to dodge through targets to get to that guy, which is what Eren tends to do. He's always... Good example was going for the witch last week. I had to work my way around. He got there. If I had to work through a couple of targets to get to the main one, that is the spell I'd be able to use. Definitely, very good one. I think the range, that's where the ranges should be. I think if you have the rogue's the guy that sneaks out and then hits, whereas the ranger's the guy that should be kind of working his way through the group and through the skirmish and things. So,
Cool.
Another one I really, really liked was Soul Cage. We were talking about that last night, me and Carl. You essentially kill something and then not steal its soul, but like enslave it. You enslave it. And you can make it do various different things, 4 different things, one of which is using it as a scrying device. So instead of getting an invisible scrying sensor orb, the spirit appears there instead as an apparition, as an invisible apparition.
Nice.
Horrified and stuff. And then there are a bunch of other stuff that you can do with it.
That's an interesting use for it.
Including using its life force to give yourself more HP, which we have already done.
Yes, we've already begun doing like soul magic and that kind of thing. All right, cool. I like the idea of using it as a scry caption, because Loic, for example, has become accustomed to the idea of if he sees something, an invisible sphere, he knows he's being scried upon. If he sees a ghost, a spectral image that is invisible,
no idea.
No idea.
Yeah, and it's not like the, well, maybe if you have the ability to speak to the spirit yourself, you can figure it out. But that's like if you don't have an ability that does that, you can't.
All of a sudden, all scryings are going to be done through spirits now.
Well, I think that this is a 6th level necromancy, so you got to be a pretty good spellcaster.
Pretty powerful. Very cool. Any other things that people enjoyed from Xanathar's guide?
The jokes, the personality. Oh my gosh.
I am in love with Xanathar. Absolutely in love with Xanathar. We won't spoil too many of the little jokes because it's absolutely worth you picking up the book just to read those little jokes. It really is. Throughout the book, Xanathar will give his little commentary on classes, subclasses. And my personal favorite, I will share this one, is his commentary on druids. So he mentions, I've always liked druids because they're made of natural ingredients, and I believe that everyone should have such a healthy diet.
Mine's still the one on the monk page.
Yeah.
The really.
Do you want to read that one out, and then we will not share any more, so that you guys can.
Well, if that's the case, this has to be it. So, do you, Ty, or do you, Carl, have anything that would contest this?
I've not managed to read it as thoroughly as you guys have, so I'll wait and enjoy some of these later.
Okay.
I do have a favorite, but I will go to the grave with it.
Are you sure? Like,
Yes.
what thing is it about?
The barbarians.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too. Okay, we'll tease that one. Go pick up Xanathar's guide. Let's see.
You got a copy, physical copy.
Yep.
Not released here yet.
It's beautiful. It smells like a comic book shop.
One of the downsides to being European is the lack of American content on time. My local bookstore won't get it until the 30th of the month.
I'm suffering from that a lot at the moment. My new PC is sitting here in the corner, lacking the new Coffee Lake processor because we can't get it here in the UK yet. And now Xanathar's guide. Oh.
When does it
Go
stop?
ahead and read out Xanathar's joke on monks.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Here it goes.
Right. Why did the samurai cross the road? Now you say why. Okay, here's the joke part. I can say. Get it? Why aren't you laughing? The joke is solid gold. Why? My delivery was perfect. Maybe you just didn't get it because you're stupid.
It's reading this book from the perception of Xanathar, a beholder, has put a new light on beholders for me. And while I won't be bringing another beholder to Crituitous RP for a while, because they've faced a couple already, unless you guys really want one. Heck, we can have one today.
We want one in particular.
Okay. I really like the idea of that kind of style beholder.
Yeah, because
a little bit crazy.
They have pretty high charisma in their stat block, right? So I've been wondering why, how is that utilized? And I figure intimidation is a charisma stat, so it's probably intimidation. But the Xanathar is like, nah, it's all you love me.
Mm-hmm. And his fish worships him, so, or at least he thinks his fish worships him.
Fish looks pretty happy to me.
It's Silgar, that's the name. Any other things that people enjoy from Xanathar's Guide before we start kicking into the character creation portion?
They have really cool tables for character creation if you don't want to develop the backstory yourself or something, and you're at least playing a barbarian human. You can roll for everything, like how you came to be into the world, what your growing up was like, what happened to you, and they've got stuff like the events in your life tables by the age that you were when that probably happened. So it's incredibly extensive, and it's going to be incredibly useful if you want to make custom NPCs on the fly. So I was very impressed with that, all of it. It also gives you a real solid interpretation of what the mood is supposed to be like in parts of the world where these people collect.
Is that in the appendices? Where you roll them up? Was that? All right.
So, This Is Your Life is a section in the character options, which gives you a bunch of options and ideas, your origins. For example, the origins section of This Is Your Life has a section on parents. You had parents, of course, even if they didn't raise you. To determine what you know about these people, use the parents table. If you want, you can roll separately on the table for your mother and your father. Use the supplement tables as desired. So, straight up D100, on a roll of 1 to 95, you know who your parents are or were. On a roll of 96 to 100, you do not know who your parents were. So right there, just a decision. Do you know? Do you not know? Okay. Most of the time, you'll know, because it's a very low percentage that they roll for. You don't know.
Yeah, I appreciate they didn't just cut it in half like that, and they tried to make it realistic.
And then along with that, it's got a section on non-human parents. So in particular, half-elves. I've always had different thoughts back and forth about what constitutes a half race. I've personally never considered a half race to always be dedicated to mother and father must be one of each race. I've always thought that eventually half races would become just a race in and of their own. A half elf marries a half elf, they have a half elf child, and so on, and it's an actual bloodline. But here it does outline. So on a roll of 1 to 5, one parent was an elf, the other was a human. 6, one parent was an elf and the other was a half elf. 7, one parent was a human and the other was a half elf, and then both parents were half elves. So it could be any of those things.
So you can't even be a quarter elf or a quarter half elf. You are a half elf if you are mixed.
Yeah.
It's neat. It's detailed.
So it's the same. It does it for half orcs and tieflings and all sorts. It then talks about your birthplace, siblings, family and friends. It really helps you just by a roll of the dice to create everything. And we'll do a bunch of those today. We'll do some of those things.
There was one kind of niche thing that maybe I'm the only person in the world who's interested in. But regarding the Hexblade, since our tier is a Hexblade in our campaign, we rolled them up using initially the first pass of the Hexblade in Unearthed Arcana. And the Hex Warrior feature of the Hexblade allows you to use your charisma instead of your strength when making attack rolls. But it had the stipulation of saying the weapon that you use can't have the two-handed property. So, okay, it's pretty clear that rule. One-handed weapon, you can't use it. But with that first release of Hexblade, they also had extra invocations. And a Hexblade-only invocation allowed you to create a magical greatsword, which obviously is a two-handed weapon. So it was a contradiction that the Hexblade was intended to not use two-handed weapons and has this Hexblade-only invocation that creates specifically a two-handed weapon. So the ambiguity of it allowed Aaron to give me the flexibility to choose a two-handed weapon. A subsequent release of those invocations removed that particular invocation and changed it to something else. So my justification for wielding a two-handed weapon just vanished. So in the official write-up now of the Hexblade and the Hex Warrior feature, it says the same thing, that you can only use your charisma so long as the weapon doesn't have the two-handed property. But if you go Pact of the Blade and you have a packed weapon, then that packed weapon can be, you can use your Hex Warrior charisma feature for any weapon that you choose to be your packed weapon. So I am no longer running afoul of the official rules, and I can freely use my my two-handed weapon as my packed weapon and use my charisma. So that just makes me happy.
And that's because warlocks, if I remember correctly, are able to make any weapon that they have their packed weapon.
Yep.
Even a magical weapon.
Yep.
Cool. So I'm personally really happy with Xanathar's guide. I know some people might have mixed views. There are some things that people may not like. For example, I know we went back and forth over some of the rulings on like falling in battle. As you guys know, if you watched a previous session, the airship was flying, and we didn't define how high the airship was flying in the battle. And these wyverns just came in, and their main tactic was to grab the characters and take them off the ship. Well, through falling and whatnot, things would have gone a little bit differently, potentially deadly, if we were aware of...
Definitely deadly. Artyr would have died.
I have a ring of feather falling.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Who else would have died?
Osrin, Eren, and Theon.
Osrin. Wait, she had boots of flying.
Yeah.
She still would have been okay. So just...
Eren had the carpet, so as long as he could have controlled his descent, I don't know what you would have...
How long did it take to
how
put the carpet out and activate it?
I still had it. I was...
Oh yeah, you had it,
it.
You had it on your feet, clenching and.
Yeah, I was like, oh no. Yeah. So, we said we were roughly about 1,000 feet up, so I may have had a turn to recover that.
Yeah, and as
but
the rolling,
Benny was gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Oh no. The only reason Benny was gone was the harpoon shot. I think he could have survived. You could have rescued him.
Well, no, you say that because if he'd have gone 500 feet,
true,
and
he went much earlier. Yep.
Yeah. It'd be
True.
Well, we'll just say that, and that way, if Matthew's listening to this later, he knows.
No. Don't take it away from him. Don't take it away from him.
Nothing he could have done. He would have died either way.
No, that's probably the only rule in the book I'm really not happy with as a player, because I feel like it's taken away opportunities for good story. Having that ability to try and rescue people and stuff like that. If it's 500 feet gone and that's it, it may work in our favour. It may not work in our favour, but it seems like a lot more dragons are going to be worried about coming prone in the near future. That's all I'm saying.
And just to kind of on that topic, very early, right in the introduction to the to Xanathar's guide, they do remind you that one rule overrides all others. The DM is the final authority on how the rules work in play. Now, I hope I don't take that, and I hope you players don't see that as me just, it's got to be my way or nothing. I try to make sure that the rules are there to use to build the story up. And so in that situation where we disagree on that ruling, what we have decided, and what I have made my ruling, is that if the rule satisfies the story, we will go hard and fast with the rule. but we'll play it by ear as we see situations like that. Chances are the falling rule won't come so strictly into play.
We're also bending the identification of spells cast rule very, very minimally. But
I haven't read that one out entirely. What's clarify that one?
So the way that they've again, this is Xanathar's Guide is a supplement, so it's not hard and fast. This is the rule forever. These are a subset of additional rules that you can play with, you don't have to play with. The identification of spells, let me try and remember where that is so I can there we go. Identifying a spell. The way it works is if you are trying to identify a spell that someone else is casting or that was already cast. To do so, a character can use their reaction to identify a spell as it's being cast, or they can use an action on their turn to identify a spell by its effect after it is cast. If the character perceives the casting, so if they saw the casting, the spell's effect, or both, the character can make an Intelligence Arcana check with the reaction or action. The DC equals 15 plus the spell's level. If the spell is cast as a class spell and the character, and so on. But basically the idea is if you are witnessing someone cast a spell, you use your reaction to identify what the spell is.
So no counter spell.
Which means the wizard doesn't get his counter spell. However, there is nothing that would stop the wizard from just casting counter spell as a reaction to seeing the character casting a spell. So the wizard can just try it. If they get the right level, then great. If they don't get the right level, then they have to roll the spellcaster ability check. What we have said for my ruling, feel free to do things however you guys wish, and whatever you want, is that if the wizard knows, or I say wizard, anyone that could cast counterspell or any spellcaster knows that spell, has memorized it at some point in their life. They don't have to have it memorized or prepared for that day, but have memorized it or prepared it at some point in the campaign. They will recognize the components, the verbal, somatic, or material components required for it, and no longer need to use their reaction to identify what spell it is. For
instance, you know if somebody whips out a ball of bat guano, you know a fireball is coming. There is no other thing that bat guano should be pulled out for in the middle of combat.
Exactly. Good example. And so if you you won't know what level the spell is being cast at, because how could you know that? But at least you would know what kind of spell this is. But that's if you've learned it, if you've memorized it at some point, or if you know the spell or have it prepared. So a lot of situations you would still have to do the Arcana check, unless if you are like Loic, who spent the vast majority of our first campaign studying spells. And I gave him plenty of opportunities to do that, so that's my fault more than anything else. All right.
I felt like I was grasping for it every single time, so I would disagree with that. I think you did just right.
So to answer Kurasan's question, so that in the chat, you're not going to do that in our game. Kurasan is one of my players in another campaign. I will talk to you specifically about that game and that campaign, but most likely it'll be similar. Okay, we can talk outside about it. Awesome. So if there's nothing else, let's get into the meat of things and let's start creating characters. So our first round of characters, and the way that this is going to work is we're going to give a rough idea of the kind of class that we want to play, the role that we want to create a character for. The race and subclass may shift during the creation, as when you are developing a character, things do develop and shift and change. We will outline what we want to try and do, and then we'll start taking it in turns to create those characters. I am just going to use the random generator on D&D Beyond, and randomly generate a character. When I create one, this is going to be a backup character for the players. Should they, in Tomb of Annihilation, run out of characters, they have to run my random characters. So we could have some interesting parties at some point if I'm particularly deadly with their encounters in the jungles of Chult. So let's kick this off straight away. Since since Casey is on the left side of my screen, Casey, what kind of character are you thinking of creating first? What role is he or she going to fit into the party?
I was actually going to ask you, Teo, if you could skip me for being first, because I need to get up for a moment. But
Okay.
now you have Carl, and
We'll switch to Carl.
you got a sigh.
All right. So, Carl, did you have your headphones on for the last couple moments? Nope. So you missed everything. All right. We're jumping into the character creation section of things. So what I need you to do is outline and just briefly describe the role that you want your character to fit. So what, maybe the class, maybe the race, anything race, class, background will or may change during the creation of the character, but at least what kind of role is this character going to fit? You are muted.
Nope. Nope.
No.
It's all gone. Here we go.
There you go.
Oh,
All right.
there we go.
Based on the discussion of out of game, what everyone else was going to do, it didn't sound like we had a knowledge-y character. So frequently there are pieces of the world in the game that are revealed through that character via the DM. And if we don't have someone who can roll high Arcana or History or Nature or Investigation, there are lots of clues that we are likely to miss. So I wanted to create a character that would fit that role.
Okay. Cool. Ty, what kind of role or character are you going to be creating right now?
Okay, so I'm not going to move very far away from the current character of the first one, because what I wanted to do with the first one was create a Witcher Monster Hunter type character. And Aaron, I think he turned more into just a very double hard fighter.
A machine.
Yeah. He didn't really become the character that had a lot of lore and knowledge about the monsters and tracking and harvesting the way I wanted him to, because I didn't necessarily pick the right stats when I initially rolled him. Now we have the Monster Slayer class in Ranger. I was going to look at that one, but what I was also going to do is I was going to do a multi character class where he's this one's going to be a look at the Paladin class and the Oath of the Ancients. So they're both really nature based, but about preserving life and nature again with that character, and have it see how that runs, because the new Monster Slayer is very anti-caster as well. It's an interesting change. So we'll see how that one goes.
Okay. All right. And then Casey.
So I'm going to be the face, what I thought would be the face of the group, specialize in that. But I will also be the frontline fighter, the primary frontline fighter. So I was thinking the best of both persuasive skills and frontline fighting is probably going to be a paladin. If not, paladin's going to be at least top 2. So I'll probably be going that way. And it's probably going to be a pretty typical paladin, but hopefully, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be playing a Triton. So it ought to be typical paladin, but at the same way from another world. So hopefully that'll offer enough creativity and originality to make it interesting.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
courtesan. I'm thinking about going courtesan background too.
Okay. Cool. So, as we have the roles and the base ideas set up and ready to go, first thing we need to do is roll for stats. Now, if we've not rolled for stats visibly and audibly, what I will allow you players to do is there are three main ways that you can roll for, that you can create. Is it three? Yeah, three ways that you can create your stats for your characters. You can roll, and you roll 4d6 and drop the lowest value per stat. That has a chance of doing some really high, but also some chance of doing some really low. And sometimes you could have some drastics. I have had a player with a 3 for his strength. It was bad, but it was good. It was a lot of fun. They played with it and they worked it well. So that could create some good environments. If you don't like the raw stats that you roll, you can choose to points by, which is where you use a certain number of points to be able to create the stats that you want. You won't get any ridiculously high, but at least you can pick and choose where you average out to. And then lastly is the standard array. You can take standard array. So I will let my players, I'll let you guys roll for stats twice. Pick the set that you prefer. If you don't like either of those sets, points by or standard array. And since you guys want to try both trusting and not trusting Roll20's macros, I will let you physically roll one of them, but one of those sets has to be done in Roll20. Okay, so since we started with Carl, go ahead and throw up your first set of stats in Roll20.
Hokadoke. Just to change the text here. That's me.
Okay, so 13, 12, 11, 14, 11, 14. So fairly average, nothing bad. I guess with race or race abilities and attribute score increases, you could probably get some pretty decent situations in there. All right, Ty, go ahead and roll your first set. Also in Roll20.
I do not like Roll20. Carl likes Roll20, and we'll see why in there. Ready?
Boom, 2 16s.
That's not terrible.
Pretty solid.
Not terrible. It's better than Carl's. All right. So 12, 13, 10, 16, 12, and a 16. Okay. Casey.
Every single character I've ever made that's been any kind of serious or had any kind of emotional development on my side has had to, by default, go with points by. So here's hoping.
You're suddenly muted, Casey.
I'm muted.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So
I could work with that, technically.
yeah, I mean the 15s you could bump up with a certain class. You could bump
I've
up.
had worse.
Be really good at 2 specific things. All right, I'm going to roll a set just to see what I would end up with. There we go. That's not bad. 16, 11, a 10, 15, 11, and a 12. See, Ty? I actually roll pretty well. So, we move to second sets. So,
Poor Casey.
Carl, would you like to roll your second set in Roll20 or physically?
I'll do it physically.
Okay.
So, okay.
Oh, we're getting the camera. We're going to be able to watch it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I just have to flip that because the numbers are...
I think you placed those ones. I don't trust that roll.
Oh yeah, I need to re-roll. Those were in there earlier. But if I had placed them, they'd all be 6s, obviously. Nothing suspicious about that. All right, here we go.
Oh, that's not bad.
So
15.
we have a 6, a 4, and a 5. We're going to drop the 2, so that's a 15.
Are you writing
Nice.
it down? Can someone write that down for me?
I will make a note of that with
Oh,
my
okay.
sticky notes.
I'm writing it down, so.
Okay.
We all jumped at it.
Thanks, guys. It's all right.
I can't see you now. You're blurred.
What did I do?
Your camera's gone blurry.
I can
Come
see your
back.
fingers fine.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
So it looks like we've got a 6, a 3,
3.
and a 2. So a 3 and a 3.
3 3. Yeah. 6 3 3.
So 12.
12.
So 15, 12. What's your third set?
It's better. It's zoom. It's back to normal.
A 3, a 5, and a 3.
11. Yep.
11.
Eee.
That's a 3, a 3, and a 2. So that's an 8. 2 more sets.
Hey.
A 6, a 6, and a 5. All right, so 17 is that?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a nice one. One more.
One more. A 3, 3, and a 4. So a 10. All right. So that's Carl's second set. So while we go through and do the second sets for Ty and Casey, Carl, I'd like you to choose between the 2 sets.
Do you want to write these down, Carl?
Please.
First? It's 15, 12, 11, 8, 17, 10.
Very good. Thank you.
And Ty, I'm assuming you're going to roll physically. Get to see a glimpse of everyone's rooms
There you are. On the
briefly.
screen. Okay. This is all small screen, so tell me what you can see. Right? Okay.
So it's we can't see the dice.
Right. There we go. Whoa.
Looks like
There's
a
a
6,
six,
a 3,
5,
and what's the one at
a
the
3.
top?
Yeah.
A 5. Okay,
There.
so we've got 14 for your first roll.
Okay.
Looks
All's
like a
good.
6, a 6, and a 5.
Yeah, it is.
So 17.
All good. All good. Oh!
A 6, a 6, and a 4, so a 14. No, a 16, sorry.
16.
Okay.
Uh, 6, a 3, and 1 on a 1.
So that's a 10 in total.
Okay. Oh, that's. Do you want me to roll that again? It's a cock.
Yeah, roll that one again.
So that is a 4, 3, and 2 1s.
Okay, so that's an 8.
Mm-hmm.
You've got one more to do. A 4, a 2, and a 2.
Oh,
That's another 8. Okay. So, same question to you. While Casey and I are going to do ours, please choose between the sets. Do you need me to read them out for you?
I wrote them down.
Okay, cool. Just in case, I just realized, just in case you're new to D&D, when you're rolling a stat, you roll 4d6 and drop the lowest of the 4, and the total of the 3 remaining is your value for a score. When you roll your stats, you don't roll per ability, you roll a set and then assign those sets out. Casey, are you rolling in Roll20 or physically?
Physically, and I will not be able to hear you.
I will translate.
Ah,
She's
I'm
coming over
assuming
here.
she's moving over to your table and okay.
Can you reach? Or do you need me to move?
Stay on the table.
4, a 2, and a 1. So that's a grand total of 7.
7.
So a 4, a 4, and a 3. That's 11.
11.
A 6, a 6, and a 6. That's an 18.
Wowzers. 18.
Best
I'll
score
take
you
the
can
7.
get. You'll take this. Okay. You're already deciding on this set. Okay.
I heard that.
Dang it!
That's a 4, a 3, and a 2. So that's 9.
Nine.
She's going to specialize in one thing.
It's back under question.
So 4, a 3, and is that a 5? Yeah, it's a 5. So 9, 12.
12.
And one more. That is a 6, a 3, and a 2. So that is an 11.
11.
Okay. So we'll give her time to run back to her chair. Casey.
So I think it's either that or it's going to be either that or point by.
Yeah, so it's up to you. Pick and choose which sets you would like to take. I'm going to roll a set myself, just for funsies, just to see what I would get. Let me pull out my favorite die. So I do enjoy rolling physically. Okay. Let's move. My room is filled with D&D stuff. So, first set. There we go. Looks like we have a 6, a 5, and a 3. So that's a 14.
Yep.
Okay. Can someone write these down? I'm not writing them down.
Writing.
Okay. There we go. Seconds. So that light is missing the ability to see that die. Perhaps I can.
There we go. There we go.
That's better. So that is a 4, a 4, and
11.
a 3. Or an 11. That's a 6, a 6, and a 5.
Nice.
17.
17. Next one. I've done 3, right?
Yep.
So we have a 5, a 3, and a 1. Ooh, that's a 9. It's a 6, a 4, and a 4. So that's 14. And I've got one more to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a 5, a 5, and a 4. So another 14. So all in all, I would say that's a fairly average set. Can someone read those out to me?
14, 11, 17, 9, 14, and 14.
So many 14s.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Okay. So, Carl, have you decided if you're going with any of those or points by or something other?
I will go with the physical rolls.
Physical rolls. Okay. Ty.
Going against the argument, I'm going to take the hot 20 rolls. It was going well. It was going well at first. The first 3 rolls were well, and then it went downhill. I don't want to
So perhaps you can help us to understand what is it about the roll 20 rolls versus yours. So in comparison, 12, 13, 10, 16, 12, and 16, or a 14, 17, 16, 10, 8, and 8. What made the decision?
Because I want to do a multi-class character, I will require because it's going to be a paladin and a ranger, I need over 13 on wisdom, charisma, dex, and strength.
Okay.
To do
Fair
that
enough.
multi-class. So to achieve that, I can't do it straight away, but with one ability upgrade, I can then multi-class. So, like, I would have preferred to have done it straight away. It made more sense for how my character story is going to work for him. But I can still do that with those stats. So,
Okay. Casey, roll 20, physical, points by, or standard array.
I decided I'm going to be very, very dumb as a complete 180 from my current character, and I'm going to go with the 7. And we're going to do the physical roll.
Okay.
I like
we're
that
going for
18. That's the
physical
first time I've ever gotten an 18. I can't let it go.
Nice. All
I
right.
just can't.
And mine were just for fun, so it doesn't really matter. Now that we have the points, the attribute scores set up, let's start. Do you want to assign them to a stat now and then pick race, class, and background, or would you like to pick one of those three things first and then assign the stats?
One of the neat things about D&D Beyond is although they have the steps numbered, you can skip ahead. So while it has abilities as the third step, you can just click on it and go there. So I would be happy to drop those stats where they need to go.
Okay. All right, so Carl, where are you placing those stats? Let's go numerical, like top down. So where's your 17 going?
Okay, so this allows me to be my preferred race, which will be a variant human.
Okay.
So I'm going to drop the 17 in my intelligence. And
Okay.
then when I pick my race, it'll give me a +1 there. Or I can choose to put a +1 there.
15?
15. Oh, where are my other stats? I gotta look real quick. 15 is next one. So because I intend to multi-class with the cleric, I also need a 13 in my wisdom. So I can drop the 12 in my wisdom and get a +1 to my as a variant human. So I will use 15 as my... No. I will use 15 in my wisdom because I was going to put it in my dex, and then I would have a +2 and be very close to a +3 in my dex mod to give me greater AC, but I'm going to be wearing medium armor, and none of them gives you greater than a +2. So I will drop the 15 in my wisdom.
Okay. You said 12. Where is that going?
12 will go in my dex.
Okay. 11.
You know what? I'm going to change that around. I'm going to put 15 in my dex and 12 in my wisdom because I do want the +2 to my dex, and with the 12 it would just be a +1. So.
Okay. All right. Where's your 11 going?
11 will go to my Constitution. 10 will go to my Charisma.
And your 8
will be my Strength.
Oh, strength is a dump stat. Not really dump, but 8. Okay. So, Ty, you're going with your roll 20 rolls. So, where's your 16 going?
I'm having an issue with which race I could work this best with.
Let's talk it out.
You have all of the races available to you, and I will allow any of the races that are roll 20, not roll 20, that are the 5th edition races. I will even, if you ask nicely, let you run others. But you've got a lot of races available to you. What are you going to choose?
See, I was this is not going to be a very original character. I accepted that, but I was going to go full elf. In my head, I was going to go full elf with him.
Okay.
Because I want this one to be more dexy. It's not going to be a strength-based character like Aaron was. He's going to be a dex-based character. And try and play the ranger, because I tried to hamstring a strength-based ranger and it didn't work. So I want to play a full-on dex high wisdom ranger. However,
You're eyeing up that turtle, aren't you?
I'm getting thrown back to a half elf, and because the charisma +2 and the additional +1s would allow me to play the character the way I want to play it with the 2 multi-classes.
If that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to play as, go ahead.
Yeah. Come back to me. I'm chewing it up in my head.
Okay. Casey, are you comfortable assigning your scores?
Sort of, kind of. I've got a hang up here between, a hang up with where charisma would go, which is the 12, which is the next highest thing that I have. So I think that I got really used to the idea of having a Triton Paladin. I really loved it, and I thought about the backstory and all, and it all fit real well. But the point of this character with the Tomb of Annihilation and levels 3 through whatever, trying to survive, I decided I'm going to go against my natural inclinations for love of story to try to see what it's like in Ty and Carl's world of min-maxers. So...
What? You say what?
You knows not, half elf. So I have a list of 4 here. I've narrowed it down to 4. So maybe you guys can help me.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
First up, 12 charisma. I got the 18, and the 18's going into strength, so that's wonderful. I don't need any kind of racial benefits to my strength with that 18. I can deal with it.
But
if you took Bugbear, you'd have a 20 strength.
The first thing is that, you can't go above 18 on your initial character rolls. So if you've got a lower stat, and then the racial trait will bump that stat up anyway, then maybe think about that. Not necessarily use the 18 for your primary ones. That way you can use one of the lesser ones and allow it to be bumped.
Yeah, but that would be the next lesser one would be a 12. And I've been playing a fighter recently who started out with a 16 strength, and I understood what that was like, and it wasn't cool.
Sorry.
It's got to be above a 16.
Is that the next level down after your 18?
12.
It's 12.
Wow.
12.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun character. But we can figure this out. We can figure this out together.
Oh,
we can change it the way that we want to. So I've narrowed it down. First one is an Azamar, which has a +2 charisma. So that would bump my 12 to a 16 and make me a capable paladin spellcaster.
12 to a 14.
12 to a 14, thank you. And then we got the Tieflings, which do +2 to charisma and +1 to intelligence. My intelligence being a 7. So it would make it one more +1 modifier.
There are also variant tieflings in Unearthed Arcana.
What do they
give
do?
you- They have different secondary stat bonuses. So if you don't want to put a +1 in intelligence, you can do one that has a +1 in something else.
Not bad. Not bad.
The variant tieflings that are in Unearthed Arcana, I would definitely check Unearthed Arcana content out for people. If it has been something released in Xanathar's Guide, then check out Xanathar's Guide. Everything else, though, for the tieflings, it thematically is a different patronage for the different devils. Yeah, the different kinds of devils that could be your...
The bloodlines and stuff.
The bloodline.
Yeah.
So it's a cool option. All right. What's your other options?
See, the interesting thing about playing a tiefling specifically in this character is that...
Oh, was that Matt coming in?
He thought about it and he was like, whoops.
No, I shouldn't be doing that.
So, the interesting thing about playing the tiefling is that I know that I want to be lawful good in order to address this Tomb of Annihilation plot. That's how I want to. That's how I want to go at it. So I would be a lawful good tiefling. Should be interesting. Next one is Triton. Triton's still in the running. It's +1 to strength, +1 to constitution, and +1 to charisma. So charisma would be 13, strength would be 19, constitution would be 12. So that's nice for my constitution. It goes up a modifier. It is 11 right now, but doesn't really cut it as far as charisma goes.
Okay, and what was your fourth option?
Fourth option was Yuan Ti,
Okay.
which also +2 charisma, +1 intelligence.
I would say, not going to meta here, Yonti in Chult, very interesting situation. There is a lot that could happen story-wise in that regard. Sounds like Matthew's jumped into the call. Hey, Matthew.
Yeah, I just came in to say hello because I heard you guys talking about tieflings on Switch. So I thought I'd come in for just a second to say hi.
Hi,
I was
Matt.
thinking about it. Hey, Matt.
Hey, we're just going through character creation.
I've been listening. Carry on. I hit the wrong button and accidentally hopped on, but then I saw you guys like, oh, it's not coming on or not? I said, well, I better show up for 5 minutes to say hi. Also, Casey, your die roll is hilarious.
Oh, I'm glad you feel that specific way about it. You should have been there for the last 5 or 8 character creations. Aaron knows.
Yours is yet to come.
That's true.
All right. Where were we? So you're choosing between a Yonti Triton Tiefling or what was the other one?
Azamar, but I don't think Azamar's going
Azamar.
to get because I don't think
Yeah.
anyone's particularly thrilled about that aspect.
They can be cool. You'll go with Yonti? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. There will be a lot of story connections. It'll be an interesting situation. Not going to matter too much on that. All right. So we have our races. We have our stats picked out, and I think we've got a good idea of races. So go ahead, take a moment, make sure that your stats are in your character sheets in the right spaces, and we'll go through what each race gives each person.
I'm still working this out.
So while they're working that out, as a reminder for the new guy, so what races have everybody settled on?
So, Carl, what race do you want to run?
I will be a human variant.
Human variant. Ty is going to be a half-elf, I believe.
Still working out.
Still working it out.
I'm working out the best math. It's not for min-maxing purposes as much as I strayed to say that, right? It is mainly because I've got a story in mind for the character, and if I don't get the class right, it doesn't work. The character is because the way I want to play this character is I won't know how I'm going to run up the 2 paths of Ranger and Paladin. And I kind of feel like it might be one of these things, and depending on where the story goes, depending on how the character goes, if he actually gets that far, I will go one or the other with it. Because it's dependent on if he has a moral change during his arc, which way he will go, if that makes sense.
All right.
So,
Do you have any other races that you're trying to compare to? Like any other alternatives?
I can't see anything else fitting because I need the Dex Wisdom and the
Kenku.
Casey's eyes got about 3 times bigger that day.
A Kenku racial
It's a
traits gets a
bird.
+2 to Dex, a +1 Wisdom. You get Expert Forgery, Kenku training, and Mimicry. I think you could do some pretty good stuff as a Kenku.
They make excellent comic reliefs, but you'd have to be willing to play comic relief.
I always play
For our one
no,
viewer
it's
who
a
is
bird
watching.
game.
A Kenku is like a humanoid bird. Does mimicry because like a good parrot can mimic other sounds and such.
So if I +1 that and then
Very
+1.
crafty, very tricky.
Oh, I wouldn't have to +2 the other 2. Alright, so
A Ghostwise Halfling has a +2 to Dex and a +1 to Wiz.
Ooh.
And they also have
Those
some
are-
pretty neat things.
Those are pretty freaking cool.
Yep.
You could be a halfling.
I'm going to go elf.
Full elf?
Yeah, it's one of the things. If I go half elf, then I sacrifice 2 high level stats to even out the load and get the full character. Or I go high elf, I go wood elf, and I get the 2 or higher stats, and then I'll have to pick up some extra abilities later and then balance out the character. But it means the character is going to be working the way it should be working when he starts. So,
okay, cool. And so, human variant, elf, and Yuan-Ti. That's what's been decided so far.
I'm actually pretty freaking thrilled that I get to play a snake lady. I mean, that's kind of my thing in real life.
Well, when we come round to that, you'll have to talk about what kind of Yuan-Ti. What physical attributes will your Yuan-Ti particularly take?
Volos or Sword Coast Adventure Guide?
Volos.
Volos, thank you.
Volos guide.
Monstrous races.
Yep. All right.
Okay,
so
so
if we're good with that, does everyone have their ability scores in their character sheets?
Oh, I do on D&D and Beyond. I hadn't put it on Roll20. I'm going to claim blank 002. It's mine.
Okay, cool.
Don't even try.
I think I just messed my camera up.
I'll claim
You
blank
did
001
disappear.
then.
Give me but a moment.
Does everyone know what class you're taking?
We have
We've not really
Inklings.
outlined
Yes.
those yet. We've got ideas of what
All right.
everyone's going to do. We're doing it step by step.
Sure.
All right.
I'm just so excited.
I know. Why aren't you here, Matthew?
So Laura and I, in America, it's a 3-day holiday weekend. So we drove up to visit some close friends who live like 8 hours away. So we're in upstate New York right now, usually in Virginia. And I've hidden in a back room and hope they don't notice me for a little bit while I'm onto the phone call, while I'm a little antisocial with them in order to be super social with you guys.
hooray,
So that's
antisocial.
where we're at.
D&D is life.
D&D is life. But I'm really excited because I kind of because I don't have time to be sitting down and making a character. I'm waiting for what you guys do, and then I'll try to fill in the gaps if the party needs, a healer or a spellcaster or whatever. But I kind of know what I want to do. I'm kind of excited about it. But I just need to pick first before I go full bore for it. So,
Okay.
Plus Aaron has to approve some things because he's gonna be a little different, but it'll be okay.
That sounds ominous. All right.
No.
Have you heard of this site, D&D Wiki, Aaron? It's so amazing. There's so many options.
I found some stuff. It's really great. I mean, it says 3.5 option and it's homebrewed, but I think we can make it work. I think this will be great.
Yeah. No. I don't even need to know what it is. The source material is.
No, don't worry. Mechanically, it's all going to be out of Xanathar's guide or the core rules. Really, I'm not really even using my Stone Earth Arcana. But it's just more how I'm going to play my character that I want to check with you. But,
Okay, cool.
so.
Fair enough.
Does the stat sheets on here add your racial stuff on here?
You will have to do the racial stuff manually.
Right.
Once you've done that, once you've got your base stats in, I can show you how to get all of your items to adjust your stats as opposed to manually altering. But your racial stuff will have to be done manually. All right, is everyone ready to go through what their races will give them?
Jace.
Okay. So we will start off straight off with back with Carl. As we have done, Carl, you're going a human variant.
Indeed.
Which means you gain 2 different ability scores of your choice increased by 1. What are you choosing?
I will be going up 1 in intelligence to have an 18, and 1 in wisdom to get up to a 13 to allow me to multiclass with
Okay.
from a cleric.
Right. You gain proficiency in one skill of your choice. I don't know if you've already taken a look at the proficiencies you might gain later, but if you pick anything right now that is covered by a class or a background later, then you can gain, instead of taking that one at that point, just gain any one skill proficiency later. So which proficiency are you thinking of going for?
As my human proficiency, I will take nature, and I will treat it like biology. I took biology class in school.
Okay. And you gain a feat. Have you chosen which feats you would like?
Yes, I will be choosing the lucky feat.
Lucky feat. Okay. That's a very good feat.
I will be using it primarily for defense at the beginning.
Okay.
That's the plan anyway.
Cool. So we move on to Ty. Since that's everything, like questions-wise, as a variant human, still as any human, your age, late teens, you live less than a century, your alignment. We can get into alignment later when we do backgrounds. Size is medium, space, walking speed is 30. You can speak, read, and write common and one extra language of your choice. There are different sets of languages. There are common and then there are exotic. You can pick anything from the common language list, not the exotic.
I will pick Elven.
Okay. Cool. So, Ty, which race are you going for?
Wood Elf.
Wood Elf. Okay. So, as a elf, it just in general, you gain... Your dex increases by 2. You can set your age between 100 and 750. Alignment we'll do later. Size is medium. Speed, base walking speed 30. You gain dark vision up to 60 foot. You have proficiency in perception already, which is good. Fey ancestry, trance, and languages. You can speak, read, and write common and elvish. That's it. So as a wood elf, your wisdom goes up by 1. You have proficiency with long sword, short bow, and longbow. Your base walking speed increases to 35, and you get Mask of the Wild. Cool. Any questions about your race? Nope.
I get languages, so it's just common and elvish.
It's just common and elvish. You don't get to pick as a wood elf.
No, that's cool.
Okay. Casey, you're going Yuan-Ti.
Yes, please.
So,
And I got the basic traits and benefits from Volos, but I don't see the physical bits.
that's more like role play you decide, kind of. The physical traits are...
They're listed in Volos at the end of the section specifically on Yuan-Ti. It's before all of the races. So it's like the page before Azamar.
So it's still in the monster section, not the actual character options section.
Yep.
Let me pull out Bolo's guide.
Oh yeah, they got a whole thing going on here.
So,
Okay, physical variations. Page 97.
there we go. So, what physical variations are you going for? What's your body type?
Probably
Say body
normal.
type. Normal.
I gotta
Humanoid skin color.
I think I'm going to be a native, because I think that's the only way that I could escape with being a lawful good Yuan-Ti if I was raised by people that were not Yuan-Ti.
Bite your fucking tongue.
So, kind of a red-brown.
Probably.
Red-brown. Okay. Your scale color.
Oh lordy, you're gonna have to give me time to think about that, because that's
Could
gonna
just
have
roll
to
it.
match. That's gonna have to match the armor. You're right. I can roll it.
Go ahead
Was
and roll
it
it.
D100?
Yeah, D100.
Okay, I'll do that and roll 20. 93, which
93.
means
Red
I
and
am red
tan.
and tan. Okay, so I'm like
Okay.
a copperhead looking.
Yeah. All right. Scale pattern.
Okay.
Do you want to pick one or roll for it?
Probably go with reticulated.
Okay. Then a tongue color.
Ooh. Black.
Black
Like
tongue.
a skink.
Okay. So
Good.
red, brown skin, red and tan scales, reticulated, and black tongue. Eye color.
We'll go with yellow.
That'll put some nice contrast with the rest of your skin. All right. Now here's the question: snake head shape.
Let's see.
As a pureblood, you don't have to take the snake head, like actual snake head. So you don't have to do that. But if you'd like to, you can do.
I like it generally speaking, just generally, but I know that I'm building it on the position that I have people skills, and I don't think that they're going to respond well to something that looks as monstrous as all that. So I am definitely probably gonna go with a human head.
All right. So just a normal one. So the rest
We don't need the rest.
we don't
of that.
need.
Oh wait.
because
Characteristics down here. Let's roll for it.
Yeah, pureblood.
This
Go
one-
ahead. Roll a
This
d20.
one needs to be rolled for, yeah. Hang on. I have a special one.
Special die.
Yep.
Is it a snake-headed die?
No, it's the one that you gave me.
Oh yeah.
I keep it next to my desk to charge it with good juju.
Let's hope it rolls a 20.
What's 20? Oh, nice.
Roll twice.
That is a 6.
6. So scaly
arms
arms
and
and hands. Okay.
You will
But
never
you'd
notice
have-
that.
Reticulated scales on your arms and hands.
Beautiful.
Okay. Beautiful. All right.
It'd be like Jorah of Mormont.
Yeah, a little bit.
Spoilers. I've not seen the latest season. I know I need to. I should, but I haven't.
Oh, this would not be the latest season. So.
Yeah, I guess not. No, he gets it. Never mind. D&D. So, as a Yuan-Ti, your charisma score increases by 2. So what does that put your charisma up at?
It is now 14.
So you've gone that way. Okay. So, and your intelligence score increases by 1.
It was a 7, so now it's an 8.
Hey. So purebloods, your age is average to a human. We'll do alignment later. Your size is medium. Base walking speed 30. You have dark vision. You know the poison spray cantrip. You can cast animal.
Did we lose Aaron?
Aaron froze.
Yep.
Come back to us, Aaron. Come back. Fix your internet.
Take it.
I don't think it's working.
Take a picture of him. That's like, hey. Damn, that he's gone.
So yeah, how about that UNT? Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
So you're going to be a UNT paladin, and I'm going to be a wizard.
Yep, seems like it.
Now, are you doing wizard with some cleric backgrounds?
Yeah, I'm going to do 1 level cleric and 2 levels wizard, and I'm going to keep going with wizard to be the knowledge guy. So you could still be the blaster guy.
So what's the level of cleric for? Just
The
some healing
knowledge
stuff, or
knowledge domain gives me expertise in 2 knowledge skills, so I can double my proficiency with them. So that way I will be super good at history and arcana checks.
great. And then Ty, you're still going to be a monster hunter?
This one. Yeah,
Central
but
Ranger.
this one's a lot different, and I'm going to play a bit more of a ranged shooter to start off with, rather than getting stuck in there. Because it's not until the later stages of this class that he needs to get in close. There's some nice
Sure.
abilities later in the class. So like being able to say no, use your reaction to do like a counter spell, force counter spell and stuff. So it's actually quite
Right.
I don't know what happened there.
Welcome
Skype
back.
just decided to stop working completely. What was the last thing you guys heard from me?
Hey.
Oh,
Uh,
you were telling Casey that Yuan T has the poison spray cantrip.
Okay. You can cast Animal Friendship an unlimited number of times with this trait, but you can target only snakes. At 3rd level, which we are doing 3rd level, you can also cast Suggestion with this trait. Once you cast it, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Cool. Advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. That's powerful. Immunity to poison damage in the poisoned condition. And you can speak, read, write, common, abyssal, and draconic.
Uber tank.
Ooh.
Nice. All right, so that's everyone's races sorted out. So, classes. If everyone seems ready with their races, let's move on to classes. So, Carl, what class are you going? You're creating a level 3 character, so what class will that be?
I'm going to start with 1 level of cleric.
Okay. A cleric takes a divine domain at 1st level, so which divine domain are you taking?
I'll be choosing the knowledge domain.
Okay, cool. Are you multi-classing before level 3?
I am.
Okay. So so you're going 1st level cleric and then 2nd level
Wizard, 2nd and 3rd level.
wizard for 2nd and 3rd level. And then so wizards arcane traditions are at 2nd level, aren't they?
Yes.
Or are they at 3rd? Yes. So what's your arcane tradition as a wizard?
I will be a divination wizard.
Divination wizard. All right. So 1st level, all you really get. Hit points start out at 8 plus your Constitution modifier. You are proficient in light armor, medium armor, shields, simple weapons, tools, none. You can choose 2 skill proficiencies from history, insight, medicine, persuasion, and religion.
I'll be picking religion and insight.
Okay. And you start with the following equipment, in addition to any equipment granted by your background: a mace and a warhammer, or a warhammer.
I'll be
You're
choosing
not proficient in warhammers.
I'll be choosing a mace.
Okay. Scale mail leather armor,
I'll be choosing scale mail.
light crossbow and 20 bolts, or any simple weapon.
I will pick light crossbow and bolts.
Priest pack or an explorer's pack.
Explorer's pack.
Shield and a holy symbol. Okay. You gain your spellcasting ability, which is charisma. No, wisdom. Wisdom, sorry. And your divine domain is knowledge. Okay.
So,
So-
knowledge. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So knowledge, you learn 2 languages of your choice. Now, this case, as it's a class-based, I will allow you to choose either common or exotic languages in this situation.
Can I take draconic and infernal?
Yes, you can. So draconic and infernal. Okay, you become proficient in 2 of the following skills: arcana, history, nature, or religion.
I will choose arcana and history.
Okay, and your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make that uses either of those 2 skills. So gain expertise effectively in those 2 skills. Right. Go ahead and do you have any questions about your cleric class?
Not at this time.
Okay, cool. So you gain command and identify as 1st level spells. You just simply by being a cleric, believe first level clerics, your number of spells prepared is wisdom modifier plus half your proficiency bonus. No, sorry, half your level. Is that right? No, it is your cleric level. Okay, so wisdom modifier plus cleric level is the number of spells that you get. Then you take second level wizard. Second level, you're taking first level wizard and then second level. When you multi-class into wizard, I don't have it on me right now, what proficiencies and things do you gain?
Looking at D&D Beyond, I don't gain anything else that I didn't already have from cleric.
Fair enough. Okay. Then what wizard? Said wizard divination.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that gives me the portent ability at second level of my wizard, which lets me every day after I finish a long rest to roll 2 d20s, and before my next long rest, whenever any d20 is rolled, before any other d20 is rolled, I can choose to replace that upcoming roll with one of my portented d20s.
Yep. That is both yours or anyone's or even any NPCs that you can do. So you can really help someone or hinder someone.
Correct.
But it only affects the d20s.
Yep.
The modifiers you don't know about. Okay, cool. Divination Savant. Good. You also gain Arcane Recovery and Spellcasting as a multi-class spell now. Okay. Any questions about being a wizard?
Nope.
All right. So take some time while everyone else is going over what they are gaining for their classes and pick the spells that you would take from both first and so on that you would have. Okay.
Yep.
We move to Ty. What
Real
class
quick.
are you taking? Yep.
Leonie says hi. She's in chat.
Oh. Hey.
Unfortunately, I've got to bounce now, but I will be watching the stream, so love you guys. Have a good day.
See you, Matt.
Have fun.
See you,
Don't
man.
be too antisocial.
Hmm.
Hey. Leonie was an old player with us. It's good to see her. So, sorry, kind of jumped in the middle. We're on Ty. Yes. So, Ty, what class are you going with?
Ranger.
Ranger. First level Ranger. Are you multi-classing already?
No, I can't multi-class because of the stats I've gone with. So revised Ranger, not the Ranger, if that's okay.
That is okay, I guess.
That's my only disappointment is that the revised Ranger didn't come out with this supplement. I know for good reason that it probably couldn't come out with a supplement and it should come out for free if because of people have already purchased it. But I kind of thought it might come out at the same time. But so revised Ranger.
What archetype are you taking at third level?
The archetype will be the Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter. Okay.
I was really close between
Monster
that and,
Slayer.
no, the Monster Slayer. Sorry.
Yeah. D&D Beyond. The Xanathar's Guide, Monster Slayer.
I was really close between that and the Horizon. Stalker. Is it Horizon Stalker?
Horizon Walker.
Walker is
You
very.
can't walk to the horizon.
I can.
All right. So, Revised Ranger. Your hit points at first level are 10 plus your con mod. You gain proficiencies in light armor, medium armor, shield, simple weapons, martial weapons, no tools. Choose 3 skills from animal handling, athletics, insight, investigation, nature, perception, stealth, and survival. What 3 are you taking? Ty?
Put it all on me. Well, we've already got perception, so that's out of the running. I'm gonna. Nature seems like it should be one. It's that one that I keep falling foul of with Erin because you keep on making your nature instead of survival. So nature.
Okay.
Stealth. It's always a good one. And survival. I'm just going to try and keep him.
Okay. All right. So your starting equipment, either scale mail or leather armor.
Leather armor.
Okay. 2 short swords or 2 simple melee weapons.
2 short swords.
A dungeoneer's pack or an explorer's pack.
What's an explorer's pack?
Let me read the contents of packs. Equipment packs. The explorer's pack contains backpack, bedroll, mess kit, tinderbox, 10 torches, 10 days of rations, a water skin, and 50 feet of hempen rope.
Yeah, the explorer's pack.
Okay. And a longbow and 20 arrows. Okay. You gain favored enemy. Choose a type of favored enemy: beasts, fae, humanoids, monstrosities, or undead.
I'm going to go undead.
Okay. All right. So.
No, I'm not.
Nope.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm going to go beasts.
Okay. Because if there's anything you're going to face in the jungles of Chult, it's either a beast or an undead. So, beast sounds good. All right. You gain natural explorer. What's your fighting style going to be?
Fighting style.
Your options are archery. Yeah.
Archery.
Okay, you're going to go for archery. So you get a +2 bonus to attack rolls you make with ranged weapons. You gain the spellcasting ability, which is neat. Primeval awareness. Yep, which is standard. No questions with that. You're taking the Monster Slayer, Ranger Conclave. That's it for Revised Ranger. So the Monster Slayer, at 3rd level, you gain Monster Slayer Magic, Protection from Evil and Good. You gain Hunter's Sense. At 3rd level, you gain the ability to peer at a creature and magically discern how best to hurt it. As an action, choose one creature you can see within 60 feet of you. You immediately learn whether the creature has any damage immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities, and what they are. If the creature is hidden from divination magic, you sense that it has no damage immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming... So, what's your wisdom modifier?
Currently 3.
Okay, so at least 4 different types of creatures every day. Cool. That's what I need to do to keep you surprised. So, Slayer's Prey, you get at 3rd level. Starting at 3rd level, you can focus your ire on one foe, increasing the harm you inflict on it. As a bonus action, you can designate one creature you can see within 60 feet of you as the target of this feature. The first time each turn that you hit that target with a weapon attack, it takes an extra 1d6 damage from the weapon. Nice. It ends early if you designate a different creature. Cool. And that's everything for your character. Yeah. Any questions about your Ranger Monster Slayer? Nope. Right, we move to Casey. What class are you taking, Casey?
Paladin.
Paladin. Straight up Paladin, or are you going to multi-class?
Straight up Paladin. It's
Okay.
already in itself a little bit of a multi-class.
All right, so a straight up paladin at third level, I think it is. Yeah, third level paladins get an oath. Which oath are you taking?
Mine will be the Oath of the Crown. I had this again with my Triton concept, but you may be able to help me work it so that the crown is no longer that, but rather something involved with Nine Zaru.
Okay, I will blend it. Tenets of the Crown. The tenets of the Oath of the Crown are often set by the sovereign to which their oath is sworn, but generally emphasize the following tenets. Law is paramount. It is the mortar that holds the stones of civilization together, and it must be respected. Loyalty, your word is your bond. Without loyalty, oaths and laws are meaningless. Courage, you must be willing to do what needs to be done for the sake of order, even in the face of overwhelming odds. If you don't act, then who will? Responsibility, you must deal with consequences of your actions, and you are responsible for fulfilling your duties and obligations. That'll be fun to play with.
Especially for a UNT. I know, right?
Yep. I'm going to have some fun with that. So, Paladins. Straight up, your hit points at first level 10 plus your con mod, and then we'll go up from that. You are proficient in all armor and shields, simple weapons and martial weapons, saving throws of wisdom and charisma. Choose 2 skills from athletics, insight, intimidation, medicine, persuasion, and religion. Which skills are you going to choose?
Doing athletics and intimidation.
Okay. You start with the following equipment: martial weapon and a shield, or 2 martial weapons.
I'll be doing sword and board, except for instead of a sword, it's going to be a trident.
Okay. 5 javelins or a simple melee weapon.
5 javelins, please.
Priest pack or explorer's pack.
Explorer's pack, please.
Chainmail and a holy symbol. All right, you gain divine sense, lay on hands, fighting style, defense, dueling, great weapon fighting, or protection.
Now, I was actually Ty and Carl. Can I get your help on this one? Because this is a tough one.
Defense.
Yeah? You think so?
Well, what were your thoughts?
Well, everything except for great weapon fighting has things about it. So you got protection, which imposes disadvantage on an enemy if they're getting at your friend within melee range. But I don't think that anyone's going to be within melee range unless, there's a catastrophe and I need to save somebody. So that's still appealing in its own right. And then you got dueling. And again, this is channeling you, Ty. I was thinking, okay, well, good defense might be a good offense. Mm-hmm. And so it gives you the +2 to every single smack. So that might be good. I don't know. Maybe we want to whittle them down faster. And then there's defense, which I've seen the opinion across the interwebs is kind of about it because it doesn't seem as functional as everything else or, manipulatable or anything like that. But right now, as it stands, I have an armor class of 18. Do you want your tank to have an armor class of 18? It can only bump up to 19 with this, but what do you think?
My vote is for defense because that is your primary role.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you're taking defense while you're wearing armor, which hopefully is most of the time. You gain a +1 bonus to AC. You gain spellcasting ability, which is charisma. And your sacred oath, which you have taken as Oath of the Crown, along with Channel Divinity as part of that. Okay, so Oath of the Crown, you gain the command and compelled dual spells along with other spells that you choose, and the following divinity options. Champion Challenge. You issue a challenge that compels other creatures to do battle with you. Each creature of your choice that can see within 30 feet of you must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, a creature can't willingly move more than 30 feet away from you. This effect ends on the creature if you are incapacitated or die, or if the creature is moved more than 30 feet away from you. Each creature of your choice. That's not bad. Turn the Tide. As bonus action, you can bolster injured creatures with your Channel Divinity. Each creature of your choice you can hear within 30 feet of you regains hit points equal to 1d6 plus your charisma mod. if it has no more than half of its hit points. That could be useful in a dire situation, I guess. We'll see.
It's more about that radius of effect challenge thing.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, so that being said, do you have any questions about your class?
I do have questions about how to. Is there a way to quickly implement that into the Roll20 sheet?
Which?
All of it, anything. I'm trying to. I started with lay on hands, and I was trying to put that into the features section on the first tab, and it doesn't do anything.
So there isn't really a quick way of doing that. However, any sort of spells that you do can just be drag and dropped onto the character sheet. That'll save you some time.
Got it.
You can copy and paste. Anything that requires a macro, we can set up. It would take a little bit of time, but nothing too quick. I would create your lay on hands as just a other resource rather than anything else, just so you can track how many points you have. Any other questions?
Don't think so, but I will need some time to figure this out.
Yeah, okay. On the topic of spellcasting, Carl, you have you've multi-classed into two different kinds of spellcasters that use two different spellcasting ability modifiers. So, obviously, the spells that you pick as a cleric will use your wisdom modifier. The spells that you pick as a wizard will use your intelligence modifier. So how would you like to track which one is which? And remember to switch is up to you. Okay, but do remember to switch your spellcasting abilities when you are casting the different spells.
Yep.
All right. So that's races, classes done. Let's move on to backgrounds. Does anyone have an idea of what backgrounds they would like to take?
I do.
Okay. All right. So, Carl, what background would you like to take?
I was thinking my knowledgeable cleric wizard could be from the Tomb of Annihilation backgrounds, a anthropologist.
Okay, not the archaeologist?
Not the archaeologist, the anthropologist.
Okay, so as an anthropologist, you gain proficiency in insight and religion. Did you already have proficiencies in either of those?
Yes.
Yes. Which it came from your class, right?
Yes.
So which ones were they? Insight or religion?
Insight and religion.
Both of them. All right, so go back to your class, which was your cleric, and choose two from history, medicine, or persuasion.
Can I not just choose any skill proficiency now?
No. So the reason why I said you can choose any is your human let you choose anything. And what I was going to say is if you already gained a proficiency in a particular skill from something else, then your human proficiency would be assigned to anything. So here you get medicine and religion because of your background. Then you choose two from the list of classes. So you get to choose two from history, medicine, or persuasion.
I feel like the player's handbook says that if you choose a background and you already have the skills from your class, then you could just choose any other two skills. Am I misremembering that? Or do you want me to find that? Or
let's quickly run through background rules, proficiencies. If a character would gain the same proficiency from two different sources, he or she can choose a different proficiency of the same kind, skill, or tool instead. No? All right. Correcting me. Fair enough. I will remember that from now on. You can choose any 2 proficiencies. Man, that's an interesting rule. All right, so pick any 2 skill proficiencies.
I will choose investigation and stealth.
Okay. And then languages 2 of your choice. Same again, you can choose either common or exotic for this situation.
As an anthropologist, I feel like she would know. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to be a lady cleric wizard, and I feel like she would know orc and goblin.
Orc and goblin. Okay. You also gain a leather-bound diary, a bottle of ink, an ink pen, a set of traveler's clothes, 1 trinket of special significance, and a pouch containing 10 gold.
Banking.
Yep. You're starting out strong. All right, you get Cultural Chameleon. Before becoming an adventurer, you spent much of your adult life away from your homeland, living among people different from your kin. You came to understand these foreign cultures and the ways of their people, who eventually treated you as one of their own. One culture had more of an influence on you than any other, shaping your belief and customs. Choose a race whose culture you've adopted, or roll on the adopted culture table. Would you like to roll or choose?
This is going into the backstory, and I wanted to work with you to see what would make sense for this character's backstory, how it would fit into the rest of the campaign.
I would say tentatively, we can adjust. We'll make changes as we go, but tentatively, I would say Aarakocra.
Excellent.
Specifically, the Aarakocra of Kir Sabal. So
that's what I was thinking.
Yep. Feature and spoiler alerts if you already know what that is. So, Adept Linguist feature. You can communicate with humanoids who don't speak any language you know. You must observe the humanoid interacting with one another for at least 1 day, after which you learn a handful of important words, expressions, and gestures, enough to communicate on a rudimentary level. Nice. Now, let's take on some characteristics. I'd like to invite you to roll for the characteristics. You don't have to, but I would like to encourage you to do so.
Encourage you? Okay, well, if your DM encourages you, you really don't not do that.
I can't remember where or if there's something specific that means it, but for some reason I've always chosen 2 personality traits, 1 ideal, 1 bond, and 1 flaw. So go ahead and roll a d6 twice.
I have rolled a d6 twice, getting a 5 on both times. So I will roll it a 3rd time and get a 3. So 5 and a 3.
Okay. So I would risk life and limb to discover a new culture or unravel the secrets of a dead one. I would rather observe than meddle. Those are your personality traits. Your ideal, go ahead and roll a d6.
I'm just writing these down.
Yeah, sorry. Give you guys time.
My ideal is a 4.
Power. Common people crave strong leadership, and I do my utmost to provide it. That would make you lawful. You cool with that?
Yep.
Okay. Let's do your bond. So another d6, please.
A 5.
I seek to avenge a clan, tribe, kingdom, or empire that was wiped out. Ooh. That gives me a lot to work with. Fun. Okay. And if we talk about it, it may be associated with the Aarakocra. That could change the campaign. That's fun. I'm going to enjoy that. All right. Your flaw. Go ahead and roll a d6.
That's a 1.
A 1. Boats make me seasick. Makes sense. You spent some time with the Aarakocra. You don't like being on the sea because you've spent much time in the air. Okay. Cool. So that's your background sorted out. Any questions about your character as a whole? Anything we haven't covered?
I do have questions regarding the equipment, but I feel like I can wait for everyone else to finish up, and we can all handle that together.
Cool. All right. Then, Ty, what background are you taking?
So we've already talked about an official backstory on this character.
Mm-hmm.
But his present vocation would be urban bounty hunter.
Urban bounty hunter. Okay. So, skill proficiencies. Choose 2 from among deception, insight, persuasion, and stealth.
So, let me get on the page so I can see what this one. So we've already got stealth. I imagine insight and
Persuasion, stealth.
persuasion or deception. Persuasion or deception.
Are you going to be trying to persuade people or deceive them? Tell them the truth or lie to them?
I don't know whether or not we'll have someone that's proficient with deception. I know I won't be, and I'm supposed to be the face.
Oh, go with deception.
Okay.
He's going to be
So-
somewhat charismatic. I'm going to up the charismatic areas a little bit. So, yeah.
Choose 2 from among 1 type of gaming set, 1 musical instrument, and thieves' tools.
So I can have 1 gaming set, 1 musical instrument, and these tools. Or choose 2 from one type of gaming set, 1 and these tools. So these
It's
tools.
worded terribly, but
Yeah.
either 1 gaming set, 1 musical instrument, or thieves' tools, you get 2 of them.
These tools and a flute.
Okay. A flute.
Yep.
All right. A set of clothes appropriate to your duties and a pouch containing 20 gold. Your feature is ear to the ground. You are in frequent contact with people in the segment of society that your chosen quarry moves through. These people might be associated with the criminal underworld, the rough and tumble folks of the streets, or members of high society. This connection comes from the form of a contact in any city you visit, a person who provides information about the people and places of the local area. So with your character as an urban bounty hunter, you have come to recognize in every city that you enter certain markers in certain places on buildings or in guild halls and things that would indicate where to go and where to find your contact. Now, granted, it has to be a civilized city. If you find an old ruined city in the jungles, you won't have a contact in there. Just clarifying that. Someone has asked that before. So, characteristics. Same choice option to you. I would invite you to roll for them. It'll shift your character a little bit from what you initially had, but I think it might be good for you. Or choose your own. Would you like to roll or choose?
I've got a really good idea how his ideals are.
Okay.
Well,
How about the rest of them?
I don't mind rolling for the rest of them.
Okay, so go ahead and roll 2d8s
2D8.
for your personality trait.
2D8.
Yes, separately. Like, what are the values?
4 and 1.
4 and 1. So I would rather make a new friend than a new enemy, and I always have a plan for what to do when things go wrong. So those are your personality traits. Nice. Good, solid. What is the ideal that you want to go for? You said you've got an idea.
Yeah. So, freedom is the ideal.
Freedom. Chains are meant to be broken, as are those who would forge them. Chaotic. Okay. Bond. Go ahead and roll a d6.
So what did I choose out of the first two?
A 4 and a 1. I would rather make a new friend than a new enemy. I always have a plan for what to do when things go wrong.
So it's okay. And 5 and 5.
So just one bond. So I'm guilty of a terrible crime. I hope I can redeem myself of it.
That exactly fits my character arc, so I'm fine with that.
Okay. And then roll a d6 for your flaw. Would you like to take the 5 that you had rolled earlier or roll another one? Okay.
6 and a 3.
So just the one, a 6. An innocent person is in prison for a crime that I committed. I'm okay with that. Okay. We'll maybe discover who that innocent person is at some point in your story. All right. So that is your character sorted. Any questions about this new individual?
No.
Nope. All right. Casey, are you good to go through your background?
Yes.
Okay. So what background are you taking?
I'm going to be a courtier.
Courtier. From
That
the
is-
Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. Okay.
Yeah.
So you gain proficiency in insight and persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
2 languages of your choice.
You're going to have to help me out with that, and you can do it on the side if you want to not reveal anything. But I figured it's going to be whoever's native, whoever would be doing business. I'm not sure who that would be.
Go ahead and roll a d100.
Okay.
I'll give you a 25% chance to get a language that will make a huge difference if your character survives.
Okay.
Okay.
91.
All right. No, never mind.
Well, don't tell me whether or not I got it.
All right. We'll talk outside about them to see what you get. It's Cholton, obviously, good idea to take. Second one. The ancient language of Omuan.
And you know, being a paladin from this region, I'm going to have to be associated with a local god as well. So maybe that'll work.
It will work. So, as you are a Yonti, as you are a paladin of the region, Omuan makes sense as a language that you would know and understand. Okay?
Cool.
All right. A set of fine clothes and a pouch containing 5 gold. And your feature is court functionary. Your knowledge of how bureaucracies function lets you gain access to the records and inner workings of any noble court of government you encounter. You know who the movers and shakers are, whom to go to for favors if you seek, and what the current intrigues of interest in the group are. So you will have an innate knowledge of the merchant princes of Port Nyanzaro and how they can help the party.
Okay.
Cool. Nice. So your characteristics. Same invitation extended to you. I'd like to invite you to roll for them, but if you have a strong reason to not, you can go with that.
Well, I know that I can't roll for personality because I know that considering the rest of the setup, including the whole paladin oath of the crown, I think I'm probably going to have to be lawful good, so I'll either pick the good or the lawful.
That's the ideal that controls that, not the personality.
Oh,
trait. So personality trait, you can get 2 of those. Your ideals control your alignment.
Okay.
If you want, we can do that. So roll 2 d8s.
I don't think either one of those is suitable.
So 4 and what was the other one? 4 and a 5.
Yeah, either
So-
I'm full of witty aphorisms and have a proverb for every occasion, which I can attempt, but I'm not a particularly quick-witted person, so it would end up being not good, and you'd hear a lot of ums and ahs. Or I'm rude to people who lack my commitment to hard work and fair play, which would directly go against being persuasive and high charisma.
Okay. So in which case, we'll change that 4 into a 3 and say, I always want to know how things work and what makes people tick.
That's definitely doable.
That's doable. And 8. I'm well known for my work and I want to make sure everyone appreciates it. I'm always taken aback when people haven't heard of me.
That's a good one, too. Okay.
All right. So your ideal, you want to go for something that's either lawful or good. So your options,
That's going to be community.
you're going to go with community. Okay, so
Yeah,
it is the duty of all civilized people to strengthen the bonds of community and security of civilization. So go ahead and roll a d6 for your bond.
Okay.
What is that? A 4.
I pursue wealth to secure someone's love. Interesting.
All right.
It's a little bit reversed.
I'll have some fun with that. All right, then roll a d6 for your flaw.
Okay. Isn't that what? No. Another 4.
Another 4. So I'm never satisfied with what I have. I always want more.
I'm good with that.
Okay, cool. So that is the background for your character. Any questions?
Don't think so.
All right, then as we have rounded up the majority of a characters, we will actually take a short 15-minute break. We'll be back in 15 minutes to move on from here. We might do a few more getting to know you kind of stuff, and then maybe put these 3 characters through their paces. All right. See you guys in 15. Just every time you rest, you'll be able to switch out your spells anyway. Are we back on yet?
Now we are.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back after the break. So, we've had a chance to relax, grab a drink, and all of that. We'll get back into it. Now we have our characters ready to go. I am just going to use D&D Beyond to create some random characters for everyone. I'm going to create 2 random characters. No, you know what? I'll do 3, 1 for each of them. So, random character, level 3, any race, any class, allow a multi-class, and feats. Let's see what happens. Random 1. So, create character. And we view the character sheet for random 1. Come on. There we go. All right. Here's a Wow, okay. A Scourge Azimar, Barbarian Fighter Rogue, with a 9 Strength, 13 Dex, 19 Constitution, 10 Intelligence, 10 Wisdom, and 12 Charisma.
That's awful.
I have to question
Profish-
the legality of this character. How can he be multi-class and have a 9 in strength? D&D
point.
Beyond!
Maybe he started in the class that doesn't require a minimum, like
This
that
is-
would require a
As soon as you multi-class, you have to have...
Oh yeah, you
both.
need to match both of them, don't you?
Yeah.
All right, we'll double check.
So,
Proficient in acrobatics, athletics, perception, and performance.
Naturally.
He is an entertainer in the background.
Makes sense.
As a result of being a first level in everything, doesn't really have much by way of options. His fighting style is defense, though. Yep. All right. So that's 1 random character. Let's run through and do another one. This time I will say no to the multi-class. Still a level 3. I will allow feats. Create a character. Right. We have Whistle, the Air Genasi Paladin.
That's a wonderful name for an Argonauty.
That is a wonderful name. 11 Strength, 13 Dex, 9 Constitution, 12 Intelligence, 14 Wisdom, and 11 Charisma. Not bad. Not bad. Not great, but not bad.
Better placement than the last one, yeah.
Yep. Athletics, Insight, Medicine, and Persuasion. He is, as a paladin, let's see what oath he took. Which oath was it? Why won't it tell me? Oath of Redemption. Oh, okay.
He's a pacifist.
Cool. All right, so that'll be an interesting one. And then one more random character.
Wait.
Level 3. Yep.
Did you just make Aang the Airbender from Avatar? Is that
Air Genasi Paladin.
as a pacifist?
Would you consider Aang to be a paladin?
No, he's more of a monk.
Yeah.
He's a monk.
All right, so let's create our 3rd random character for the night. If you don't need these characters, you might meet them in the campaign at some point. This one is Banyor, the Tiefling Warlock. A 6 in Strength, 13 in Dex, 7 in Con, 12 in Intelligence, 10 in Wisdom, and 14 in Charisma. His patron is the Fiend.
Appropriate.
And he is Pact of the Blade with a 6 in Strength. Really? All right, he's going to be terrible with that weapon, or he'll have to stick to finesse weapons.
Maybe you should switch his strength and dex to just make him make sense.
Maybe. All right, cool. So we have some random ones that may come into the campaign at some point. Watch out for Banyor. What were the names? Banyor, Whistle, and I didn't get a random name for the other one. All right. So we have our characters. We have our initial party. We have more players that on another session, another time, they will create their characters, and we'll get to enjoy those in a couple of weeks. But we need to talk equipment. Now, these guys are going to be coming in at level 3. So that does mean you're limited to your normal starting equipment, even though this campaign will probably be a fairly standard to high magic level campaign. You start out with the standard equipment. However, I'm going to allow each of you to choose any one item from the common magic items list in Xanathar's Guide to Everything to take as a starting equipment. So, take a moment to read through and pick one of those common magical items.
That answers one of the questions I had regarding equipment. Because as a cleric wizard who started as a cleric, I don't start with a spellbook. But there is a common magic item called the Enduring Spellbook. So that will handle that for me. Thank you.
Okay, so that's what you're taking. All right. This spellbook, the Enduring Spellbook, this spellbook, along with anything written on its pages, can't be damaged by fire or immersion in water. In addition, the spellbook doesn't deteriorate with age. While you guys are thinking, we will reminisce to a moment long ago in the campaign when Loic died for the second time, as he was disintegrated by the matron mother in Menzo Baronzon. I had a discussion with Casey on that topic of his spellbook, because strictly speaking, his spellbook was not magical, and as a result, the disintegrate should have destroyed it. But we felt that was too much of a detriment to his character, so we said that he had managed to line it with some form of magical.
It was
valor.
made out of the same stuff that Princess Ebonbeard's stuff was made out of, which was the enchanted fungi and the troglodyte skin and stuff.
Yeah, so that way his spellbook lived on, and he wasn't in such a high detriment. Because when a wizard loses his spellbook, that's a serious issue.
Which I would have eventually recovered, but I wouldn't have been able to survive that second half of Out of the Abyss at all whatsoever. Not that I did, but, you know.
Kind of. All right, yeah. Okay. Ty and Casey, have you had a chance to look at and pick a common magical item?
I'm going to have to contest the reasonability of being able to choose one of these that quickly. We're going to have to, give this a good read.
Okay. All right. You want to take some time with it? Take some time with it. Okay.
I do have more questions regarding equipment, if that would help.
Go ahead.
My colleagues. All right. So, as a cleric, I start with scale mail. The MSRP for scale mail is 50 gold pieces. A chain shirt is also 50 gold pieces. Would you allow me to trade?
I would allow you to sell your current one to buy a new one, and on a persuasion roll, determine whether or not you get it for the same price. You sell yours for half and therefore get the chain shirt for half, or potentially increase the value of your chainmail by half and therefore have some additional gold. So go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
Well, so this is my character?
Yes, your new character.
Okay, well then in that case, I'm going to roll some portent dice as well.
Okay.
In case I need...
So that day he has a vision of himself potentially buying. Okay, so a 15 and a 9. All right.
I might use those sometime in the future.
Yeah.
All right, and now we will use my persuasion, which I have as I am not proficient in, and I have 0 bonus to.
So when you use your portent, you choose beforehand whether or not you're going to use it before you roll.
Yes.
Did you use one of those scores before you rolled?
I'm also lucky, so I will choose to re-roll.
Okay.
And instead of rolling, I will use my 15 portent.
Okay. All right. With a persuasion bonus of 0, you are able to convince the seller to go complete split on chainmail and chain shirt, and you can trade them out.
Excellent. Okay, let me note that.
On that note,
Yes.
can I trade the 2 short swords for a rapier?
How much are short swords worth?
You're going to have to tell me because I haven't got that thing button.
Right. Give me a second to open up my handouts.
I also have 20 gold, so from my thingy, so I can make a difference.
So equipment, weapons. So you have 2 short swords. Each short sword costs 10 gold pieces.
Right.
So you can sell it and roll a persuasion roll to try and reduce, increase, or change the value that he will offer to you. So go ahead and roll a persuasion.
How much? How much is a rapier?
A rapier is 25 gold.
Okay.
Okay.
So, persuasion
Yes, persuasion check.
or deception?
Persuasion when you're shopping. The 1 bonus. All right. You talk to the seller quite a bit, and he is actually only willing to offer you 5 gold pieces per short sword. So combined, you could get 10 gold pieces for the 2 short swords. Add the 20 that you already have, you could afford to buy the rapier at 25 gold. If you wish, and leaving you with 5 gold pieces.
Can I talk him down on the sale of the rapier?
Another persuasion check.
Should have picked persuasion as the skill and not deception.
You actually fumble about with your words, and as a result, his price strangely increases by 5 gold, and in order to do this swap, you will be left without any gold.
I'll stick with what I've got.
Okay. All right.
Hey, I got a question.
Yeah? What's your question?
Are we going to be playing by the rules of resting in armor and stuff? Are we going to be...
So when you say the rules on resting in armor, do you mean the sleeping in armor rules of Xanathar's Guide?
Yes.
Okay. So for clarification, those rules state that sleeping in light armor has no adverse effect on the wearer, but sleeping in medium or heavy armor makes it difficult to recover fully during a long rest. When you finish a long rest during which you slept in medium or heavy armor, you regain only 1/4 of your spent hit dice. If you have any levels of exhaustion, the rest doesn't reduce your exhaustion level. So, I will be honest. I think it mostly, personally, depends on the situation that you are in. You can, if you can find a position where you can actually make a somewhat comfortable sleeping arrangement for yourself, then you could sleep in your armor without any negative effects. It's not comfortable, but you could do it.
Okay.
If you are unable to find anywhere comfortable and you are roughing it on the side of a road, then you would have to take your armor off. How do you guys feel about that?
So the more dangerous the situation, the more necessary it is to take your armor off. Interesting. I'm fine with that. I think it's reasonable anyways, so I'm for whatever's reasonable. I have narrowed it down.
All right,
To 3
you've narrowed
items.
it down to 3 items.
So,
Would you like more time, or have you decided?
well, I want your help.
Yep.
I want
Okay.
y'all's help.
What's the first item? And just before you do, again, we are going through the content of Xanathar's Guide to Everything. If you would not like to know it, plug your ears now as we talk about 3 of the common magical items within Xanathar's Guide. So, what options are there?
All right. I like these 3 things. Boots of false tracks.
Okay. So
That's-
only humanoids can wear these boots. While wearing the boots, you can choose to have them leave tracks like those of another kind of humanoid of your size. Okay.
And then in the idea of being a courtier in high charisma, we have the cast-off armor.
You can doff this armor as an action.
So it's like,
Okay.
boom,
Okay.
like breakaway pants. And then third one is clothes of mending.
Okay. This elegant outfit of traveler's clothes magically mends itself to counteract daily wear and tear. Pieces of the outfit that are destroyed can't be repaired in this way. Okay.
So what do you guys think between those 3 things?
Personally, I think, mechanically speaking, you could do more with the boots of false tracks. Fun RP speaking, you could do more with the cast-off armor.
I thought so too.
Day-to-day tracking, clothes of mending. Yeah.
Okay, clothes of mending's
Yeah.
not fitting the bill there. We will go with boots of false tracks.
Okay. Fair enough.
I have more equipment questions.
Okay. While Ty is continuing to read through and choose his common magical item, what is your equipment question?
So my first level as a cleric and of the knowledge domain, one of the things I get is I get to put the identify spell on my spell list. So it's
Yes.
always prepared. First level character, I have identify.
Mm-hmm.
The identify spell requires me to be in possession of a pearl worth 100 gold pieces. To me, this seems like a strange spell to give someone at first level if you don't also give them the wealth to cast the spell, unless the intention is for you not to cast the spell until you have gone out and earned some money. So my question for you is, do I have this pearl?
Okay. So let's actually think more about how did your character become a cleric?
And so I believe she worships the wizard god Azuth, and as the worldview or the dogma of that faith is that you should go out into the world and make sure that everyone knows the wonders of magic, that it shouldn't be cloistered anywhere. And if you learn a new spell, you should copy it down for yourself and then copy another one for send it home to your library. So I imagine that as an anthropologist and someone of this faith, that she went out on missions and exploring the world and sharing the marvelous magic of day-to-day everythings. And that is
Then
my
it's-
impression of the character.
All right. Then it seems to me like as you are sent out to share the wonders of magic with everyone, you would be sent out with what is required to identify magical items. So you start with that pearl
Excellent.
and an owl feather.
Well, the pearl is the one that has a cost. So yes, thank you for the alpha there though as well.
No problem. It's brown owl.
Thank you.
You put it in your hair. Look like a native.
All right. Any other questions about equipment? Or Ty, are you ready with your choice of magical item?
Horn of Silent Alarm.
All right.
I was thinking about that one, but then I thought to myself, There are so many little creative, stupid, little awesome things in here. I can't resist.
Oh, no, I love the way that I could sit there and annoy the crap out of you people.
Oh, you're
Like,
gonna use it
very
as an
bad
irritation. Okay, got
I
it.
could just sit there and blow it, and only you guys could hear it. And if we're in the middle of the jungle, I'm not worried about things coming down on us, but it would still annoy you, even though it's
Good.
good.
I'm glad somebody picked it. Yeah.
Okay, so the Horn of Silent Alarm. This horn has 4 charges. When you use an action to blow it, one creature of your choice can hear the horn's blare, provided the creature is within 600 feet of you, of the horn, and not deafened. So you can deafen yourselves to avoid this, should you wish to do so. No other creature hears sound coming from the horn. The horn regains 1d4 expended charges daily at dawn. Nice. So make a note of those magical items that you guys start with. So we have the Horn of Silent Alarm, the Boots of False Tracks, and it was the spellbook, the Enduring Spellbook.
Yep.
Okay.
And I do have more
Cool.
equipment.
Absolutely. Let's go with more questions.
Okay, so also as a cleric, she starts with a mace, a light crossbow, and crossbow bolts. The mace is worth 5 gold pieces, the crossbow is 25 gold pieces, and the crossbow bolts are 1 gold piece. So that's 31 gold pieces worth of equipment that she will never use. I would, as a wizard, I need an arcane focus, and I believe she will be using a wand as her focus. So she'll be carrying her shield with the holy symbol and casting with a wand. And a wand costs 10 gold pieces. Would you like me to roll for these again?
Yes, so a persuasion check to increase the value of, or determine the value of what you can sell your items for. 19. So you are able to sell them at cost, at value in the book.
Okay, so I have 31 extra gold pieces. All right, I would like to buy a wand.
Okay. Same thing, you can roll a persuasion check to determine the cost of the magical item. So same situation at cost.
Okay.
At standard cost. You now have a wand.
All right, and then lastly, as
It's not no persuasion in you. Roll 20 is so good for you.
So, any other questions?
yes, as a wizard, I will be grabbing up a familiar. I will be spending 10 gold pieces in material components to summon my familiar. And I would like to see if I can get a pseudo dragon, which is in the monster manual as a optional familiar. So I defer to you whether or not that is available.
Pseudo Dragon is available.
Then that's what I will have.
You gotta be nice to him though. He'll run off on you otherwise.
What happened to your Pseudo Dragon?
He didn't like the way I was doing stuff, and so he left. He
That's
peaced out.
true.
All right, I believe that covers all of my questions. Thank you.
Okay. Would you care to take a moment to explain describe your Pseudo Dragon? What kind of Pseudo Dragon is it? How does it
Silver.
look?
A silver dragon, just smaller.
Okay. So
I thought pseudo dragons were all the same kind. They're all
yeah, but
red.
for
with purple
fluff
color.
and flavor, you can
Okay,
kind of
yeah.
describe different aspects. Because the way that a familiar works is you effectively summon a spirit, don't you? To be your companion in the form of a pseudo dragon. So, what is the nature of this spirit that you summon?
He's going to be a celestial and is going to be very affable. An affable mini silver dragon.
Like silver dragon with the giant head fins. with a scorpion tail?
Whatever is the canon silver dragon, I will accept.
Let's pull out our handy dandy book that just happens to naturally open to dragons. Must show how often I pull dragons on people.
Dragons and it's all dragons and beholders with you.
It is
All the time.
always. Actually, I do have I currently run a Tales from the Yawning Portal campaign that Kura-san is a member of, and in every dungeon I have included a dragon somewhere. One of which it was a doll that they just happened to find.
I
But
think
they
he
spent
prefers
a-
action figure.
Yeah, they spent a good while investigating it just to make sure that it was what it is. Okay, so our silver dragon looks like that. So he's got a mohawk. Your pseudo dragon has a mohawk
That'll be fun
And
to
a-
draw.
and a bit of a goatee too. Right. And he's affable, friendly, neighborhood pseudo dragon. All right. Any other questions that you guys have about your new characters? Anything you would like to take the time to prepare before we put them through the ropes?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ropes. I don't have any spells or any equipment on my Roll20. I gotta do that real quick.
Okay.
And everyone gets to watch
If you
me do
guys
that.
would prefer to maybe hold that off for another time, we can do.
It might be a good idea since it's already this far into our session making. Maybe we can play around with the idea of secondary characters.
If we've got the time left, we'll do a little bit quicker with the secondary characters. If you want.
Or we can make it a short episode.
We'll keep going. Let's have some fun.
I don't know if I have the endurance for another character creation. I've invested all
You?
of
What?
my heart and soul into this one. Why can't I add a shield to my character sheet? This is dumb.
What say you, Ty? Would you like to try out your character in a combat setting? Or would you like to...
Tryouts.
Okay, so that's one vote for tryouts. Casey? Tryout or character creation?
I think I'm gonna go with tryout since Carl can't comprehend the creation of a secondary character at this point.
Okay, so you guys take some time to make sure that your characters are combat ready. I will spend some time picking a appropriate,
We are
challenging combat session for the three of you.
back to level 3.
Yep. And no magic items that make a difference
Yeah.
in combat.
It's gonna be painful.
We're
So
all
3
squishy.
characters at level 3.
It's gonna be like walking through a cactus patch. That's what's gonna be the emotional equivalent.
So, the question is, should we make it easy, medium, hard, or deadly? If anyone is listening in the chat, they can choose now. Take some time. Easy is 225 XP, medium is 450, hard is 675 XP, and deadly is 1200 XP. Go for I see one vote for hard. What do you guys think?
Is that the only?
No, that
No.
was...
No.
It was me. All right. We'll go more medium, shall we? Yeah, we'll go medium. A nice average battle against 2 monsters of CR level 1. So let's pick some CR level 1 monsters.
So I was
Any
trying.
kind. Yep.
I was trying to drag the shield spell onto my equipment list. So now I have the shield spell in 5 slots in my spellbook. So explains my difficulties.
Yes. So an update that was to the Roll20, the 5th edition OGL is dragging something. You can drag it anywhere on the sheet, and it will fill in the correct place, which is useful in some situations. All right. So we have. Ooh.
I don't like
We've had
that
some
noise.
fun with these in the past. You go with the dragon, brass dragon wormling. That's CR1. An evil mage. Let's go with something that would fit into the next campaign, the adventure that you are going to have to
Zombie
explore.
T-Rex.
Zombie T-Rex. Would you like to deal with the zombie T-Rex? I won't tell you.
Not
it's
really.
CR. Okay. All right.
I know that normal Rexes are like CR5 or something.
Yeah, the T-Rex is the highest CR rating beast in the repertoire
also-
of beasts.
No, well, yes. It ties with Mammoth, right?
Yes. So let's go with a forest setting since you'll be in the jungles to some degree. Oh, how funny it would be if we had a TPK tonight.
Funny.
Then you would know how to scale things.
What's up, Ty?
I got an additional language. I'm trying to think what I could have.
All right.
What do you think would be useful in Chult for languages, guys?
Does anybody know Goblin yet?
I do.
Okay.
Or Averine does.
That seems a little large.
Well, if,
By the way, we will not have a visualization of the map on the screen. So if we want to let
That's
people
okay.
know what
It
we're
will
doing.
be descriptive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's actually perfect. I will create the encounter without you knowing. I will also create some mock icons for you. Give me a brief description of what your character looks like in terms of skin color and hair color. I know that the Yonti is female, right?
Yeah, and red, brown,
And
everything.
Red, brown, everything female. Okay. I will do the closest approximation I have on hand as quick as I can. How about Artir? What's a brief description of the facial features of your character?
My character is a lady. And I reckon she will talk like Mrs. Doubtfire. And so Let me
Go
see if I
on,
can
go on.
channel it. I think she'll talk like this. She's
No.
she's not very charismatic, but she'll be throwing firebolts out like this.
Is that an Indian, Mrs. Doubtfire?
It's,
No, that was something between what he intended to do in our tier.
it's true. It's true.
Jays.
Jeez.
Okay, and Ty.
He's gonna. So I said this is a bit like the Miller out of the Escape. He's got like a mohawk, overhanging mohawk on one side, and it's like he's gonna have scars running down his the side of his scalp. White skin. He might his ears might one of his ears might have been just shaved a little bit with the cut as well.
Brown hair, yellow hair, dark skin, light skin.
Light skin with ash blonde hair.
Okay, that's the closest thing I have to a rough approximation. Okay, and so we have Casey's character. Let me set you up real quick. HP, AC, roll 20 is fantastic when it comes to building encounters very quickly. Casey, it looks like your hit points are 22 out of 10.
They're supposed to be 22 out of 22. I got that.
Okay. Averine, Amble Crown.
Aye.
Right, setting you up with your character. Now, and then Kelrin Glingolor? Is that his name? Ty? Kelrin?
Kelvin.
Kelren.
That's a fine half-elf name.
I was pretty sure he's an elf.
Is he?
What's that?
He's an elf.
Elf. Okay.
It's a fine elf name.
Okay. So, you guys are exploring the jungles of Chult. You will learn why at another point. This is just while you're exploring. You're together, alone. The rain has been pouring down heavily. The air is muggy and hot and sweaty. It's not a great day. Doesn't feel good. There is mud caking. You're up all the way up to your knees. It's been a long day. As you're bedding down for the night, trying to set up a camp and a tent in the rain, trying to keep your provisions dry for but just a little bit longer so that you can finally rest and sleep, you hear a rustle in the trees on either side of you. There's twigs break, shift.
Blow my horn.
Are you hearing that? I heard twigs and the horn.
A horn? You must be insane. I don't hear anything.
Okay, so you blow the horn for Averine to hear you.
I blow the horn for everybody to hear.
Okay, so
Something
you use
going.
2 of your charges to blow it.
I had
As-
predetermined
yeah.
if I blow my horn, danger is coming.
Okay, all right. So, as you hear the sound and you sense that creatures are on the way, you haven't yet sensed what kind of creatures. You just know that something is headed from both directions. What kind of preparations do you guys take?
If we think it's combat, I'm going to throw up a bless.
Okay, so you use Bless, and Bless allows you to hit 3 people, so all 3 of you under the effect of Bless. Okay.
Do you have to stay within a certain distance in order to maintain bless on us?
Nope,
No,
you just have
once
to be.
it's cast, it's fine.
Okay. Then I will separate myself from the other 2 and make noise. I'm going to separate myself by at least 30 feet.
Okay, so you intend to draw them to your location.
Bang on my shield. Just ding ding, dinner time!
Okay. Ty, is there anything that Kelrin is doing as these things appear to be coming in fast?
He will hide.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a stealth check. Trying to hide amongst the trees and the jungles.
Oh, you're a brave one, aren't you?
Getting better.
14. Okay. So these things... All right.
But then, in the attempt to hide, I want, as soon as I see them, I want to be able to try and identify them and what they are.
Will take an action to do that, and they will attack from hidden.
Yep.
Okay. Roll a perception check, all of you. Let's see how well you notice these things as they approach.
Can I roll something above 5?
I have an 8 from Erin. From Kelrin. Thankfully, Kelrin's passive is 15. Casey's character rolled a 12. Okay. And Averine rolled a 19. Okay. These things. Let's roll a stealth check. Both. All right. You see one of the creatures headed directly towards Averine. In fact, all three of you see it. It is a reptilian type creature. A little bit of furs lining its back. In terms of pictures, probably won't be able to see. It's a Deinonychus that pops into existence all around you. As you see it, Erin, you use your Slayer's Prey. Quick reminder, what does Slayer's Prey do for you? You gain all of its vulnerabilities. Oh wait, no, that's your bonus action to do that.
Oh,
right, okay. I thought you were doing your...
no, I'll do both. Sorry, 100% as well.
Okay. You know that this creature has no immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities. Okay.
Okay, can I, this is my favourite enemy, so can I, well, I assume this is a beast and this is my favourite enemy,
Yes.
so can I get some sort of other insights on this? All right.
Not so much. It looks hungry. In a sense. All right, so as it comes in, I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative.
Wow.
First initiative roll of the new characters. We have a 12 from Casey, 20 from Kelrin, and a 7 from... right.
So I rolled twice.
Yeah, 20 for Kelrin, a 5 for Averine. Okay.
No,
Kelrin, you didn't add yourself to the initiative order.
Yeah, so I didn't click on that character.
Okay.
It's all new again.
It's all new. All right. So, top of the round, as one of the creatures, you can't actually see the other one, breaks through the trees, scurrying very quickly towards Casey's character. Kelrin, what do you do?
Okay, so I now have Hunter's Sense on it.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to fire my bow, and as a bonus action, I'm going to cast Ensnaring Strike.
Okay.
I believe that's...
So the next time you hit a creature with a weapon attack before the spell ends, a writhing mess of thorny vines appears at the point of impact. The target must succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained by magic vines. Okay, so go ahead and fire your shot. See if you hit the Deinonychus. And it's a 12
Plus 1d4.
plus 1d4.
Be good. 14.
14. The arrow courses through the air, hits the Deinonychus for 12 points of piercing damage. The area erupts in vines.
He's already enrolling additionals.
Min maxes, people. Min maxes. All right. So he has to roll a strength saving throw. He rolls a 10. What's the DC on your ensnaring strike? 13. Okay. As it's running in and attempted to come in, it becomes restrained. While restrained, the target takes 1d6 piercing damage at the start of each of its turns. A creature restrained by the vines of one. Okay. All right. Anything else from you, Kelrin?
Oh, yeah. A nod and a wink.
Okay. Then, as you have fired that shot, a slight rustle pops from the trees right next to you as it appears the Deinonychus was able to surprise you. It will bite at you once.
Whoa. Have a girl.
Go. All right. So, let me auto roll damage. Great. So, bite attack is... It was hidden, so it has advantage.
Yeah. It's all white. Go on.
I had to confirm that. It's a crit. As it bites down on you, you take 7 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
It will then rake its claws against you twice. I've got an 11 to hit and an 18 to hit. Do either of those hit you?
Second one hits me, yeah.
Okay, you take 4 points of slashing damage.
Okay, do you need me to roll Constitution saving throws?
Yes, Constitution save, please. 2 of them, both DC 10. Okay, you're fine in that regard, but I also need you to roll a strength saving throw. As this thing launched through the air to grab you, it attempted to pull you, to knock you down in the attack, but failed to do so. We have the Deinonychus that is restrained. It will attempt to break out on its turn, rolling a 20 on its strength check. That breaks it out, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, then that is his turn. Casey's character.
All right. This probably won't happen on
But
most
did
fights.
you roll the 1d6 piercing damage? Because that happens at the start of his turn before it
Yes,
gets to
it
break
does. Let me roll. Would you like to roll that, or should I?
it. Go for it.
4. All right. That thing screams in pain, but it managed to rip itself out of the vines and start charging towards you. Casey, what you doing?
I move there. And then let's see what this does. We're going to do the Channel Divinity Champions Challenge.
Okay.
So, each creature of your choice you can see within 30 feet must make a wisdom save. If failed, creature can't willingly move more than 30 feet away from you. Effect ends of viewing it. Okay, that didn't do what I thought it did. It was confusing that for Compelled Duel. Yeah.
Okay. Well, they both fail.
Okay. So they can't move more than 30 feet from me.
Anything else from you?
Well, that's a bonus action. So
So you've still got an action.
yeah. I guess I'll use it to move because I don't have anything that allows me to ignore cover.
Okay.
So
I wouldn't consider party members to be covered right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll chuck a javelin at the guy that's biting on my friends.
Okay. You arc the javelin in a shot.
And this is.
Plus
An
1d4.
11. Roll a
Oh.
d4
Thank you.
because it can make the difference.
Yay!
There we go. The javelin digs deep into the side of that creature. Takes 10 points of piercing damage. Shouts in Kelrin's face as it takes that pain. Anything else from you, Casey's character?
That'll be it.
Okay, Averine Amblecrown.
I'll be casting a firebolt at that danged little dinosaur. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just casting.
Okay, so an 18 to hit. The flame soars around Kelrin's face, heating him up ever so slightly. Another 10 points of fire damage. The thing is now looking quite charred. The feathers have turned to black and are singed. Anything else from you?
I'll just move to a more secure location. A little bit.
Okay, Kelrin.
So this thing's on top of me. It's looking quite burned.
Yes.
Can't move away, and I can't hit it.
What you gonna do?
Don't know. I'm gonna. If you're restrained, can you make tax of opportunity?
Yes, restraint just means whenever you make an attack, it is at disadvantage.
Okay. Can I? He's not dropping his bow. He's just pulling out one of the short swords. He's just going to and cut down.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast the Ensnaring Strike again. Yes.
Okay. So you're going to use it on the one that's in front of you?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. You swing the short sword around, casting the spell, intending on the spell coming in and wrapping it up in vines. As soon as you hit, the impact explodes in a flurry of thorns, vines, just bits of leaves that wraps the thing up completely, squeezes, and the whole creature falls limp to the ground,
Looking slow.
dead.
Okay.
Anything else from you, Kelrin?
I'm going to move back.
Okay. All right, then the Deinonychus will charge straight forward to its quarry.
Come at me, bro.
Leaping with a bite attack. That is going to be a 15 to hit.
Oh, miss.
Okay. It will hit you with its claws. That's a 21 to hit.
That hits.
8 points of slashing damage. And I need you to roll a strength saving throw. A 9. All right. So as this Deinonychus ran up
Natural
to you,
5.
Plus 1d4.
and yeah, because you're
Oh, I'm
blessed.
still blessed. Okay.
Bless is a permanent thing while he has concentration on it.
Nope. Just kidding.
10. All right. So the Deinonychus leaps into the air, bites, uses its claws to rake at you. It knocks you prone, which not only allows it to continue its attacks with advantage now, but it gets a bonus action bite attack. So another claw attack with advantage is a 21 to hit.
That hits.
So another 10 points of slashing damage. And then a bonus action bite with advantage is a 7 to hit.
Misses.
That's going to miss.
You
All
could have
right.
just killed me in one go there.
Could have. Almost, but I didn't. So, what's Casey's character going to do now?
Wait, you said this is a hard encounter?
This is actually, in terms of difficulty, 2 CR1 monsters against 3 third level characters is a medium encounter.
Okay. All right.
So what's Casey's character going to do?
Well, I need some HP for sure. What's lay on hands? Is it an action or a bonus action?
It's an action to use.
Okay.
And you can use up to 15 because you are a third level paladin.
Mm-hmm. See what Cure Wounds does. That's
Maybe.
also an action.
No, I was going to tell you what Cure Wounds did.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and lay on hands for all 15.
Okay, so you get back 15 hit points. Averine Amble Crown.
I presume Casey's character stood up.
Did you stand up, Casey? Or remain prone? You just kind of pat yourself down to give yourself the healing. You're muted, I think.
Thank you. Even if I attack from the ground, I get disadvantage over something that's standing, right?
If you try to attack something while you're prone, you have disadvantage.
Okay, yeah, I'll stand up.
Okay, so you didn't move, but okay, so standing up. Averine, what you doing?
I will be blasting this one with the same precision as the other one.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
The flame hits the feathers, burns it for 3 points of fire damage. It is in pain, but still alive.
Can luck be applied to damage rolls?
Not damage rolls.
Oh,
Only d20 rolls.
Very good. Well, then that's it. I will end my turn there.
Kelrin.
Karen's going to move up to here to get a better line of sight on this new dragon. Then he's going to cast Hunter's Mark. Good old Hunter's Mark.
So
on
now-
that guy. So now he has Slayer's Prey, Hunter's Mark on him.
And favored enemy.
Yeah.
Alright. So let's pray that you hit. If you hit, it's going to kill because the minimum damage from those 3 combined would kill it. So let's hope you hit.
That's good.
25. All right. The bow soars through the air as it's trying to come in for another attack, another bite. Rolls down. The arrow clean into the neck. Ugh. Slumps down. You have cleanly destroyed these 2 predators.
Good job, team.
I suppose that's why we keep you around, even though you're off skulking in the bushes.
Karen's just going to pick his horn up and blow it again, really.
Ah! There's no one else hearing these horns!
only on her, the old woman.
All right.
Your
Cool.
favorite thing.
So, after trying out your characters just for a couple of rounds of combat, just for a couple of minutes, how do you guys feel about these new characters?
That was very scary being taken down that close. I had only 4 hit points left, so almost any amount of damage if he'd hit the next time, I'd be down. So that's very concerning.
Scary. It's scary. Free level 5. Everything's scary.
That Deinonychus, that creature, missed its first bite attack, knocked you prone with the first claw attack, hit with the second claw attack, and missed with the bonus action. So it could have been a one-shot completely if it had hit with everything.
Those things are crazy. Those are CR1s, and they've got 4 attacks.
Well, it's probably because they have 0 defense. They're all offense.
Mm-hmm.
Dearie, if you had fallen out, I've raised your back up. For Azuth's
You
sake.
better.
Are they So what is the AC on those? What, like 2? What's 12 even? Something like
13.
that? 13. And the hit points?
You'll have to do the calculations yourself in another combat with them at another time. All right. So we've gone through the character creation. We've created some form of backstories. We've even done a little bit of combat testing. I want to get you guys' final opinions. So you've created characters using some aspects of Xanathar's guide, plus other things, mostly using the D&D Beyond website as well. How do you guys feel? How did it go?
I like it. I like my character. I like I do like doing stuff on D&D Beyond when all the content is unlocked via you. So thank you for that. It was neat.
Any DMs out there questioning whether or not to take the plunge and get the master subscription with D&D Beyond, definitely do it if you can afford it responsibly, because it's really nice to be able to give my players access to my content so that they can look at the options available.
And I imagine that the premium dealie that you got is significantly less expensive than going out and getting the actual books.
Yes, significantly so.
Yeah, even though we have all the books, and we're creating the characters digitally, and just being able to click on the website is super convenient.
Yeah, it took me about 5 times longer to flip through books there.
Cool. Well, thank you, everyone. We are going to wrap up tonight's session. I can't say for certain whether or not next week's session will be a continuation of the Crituitous RP story or something else. We will let you know via Twitter at that point.
We're not here, so...
Because we don't have 2 of our main party members. We're about to enter... Yeah, we're about to enter Erin's house. And perhaps I can give you guys a sneak preview now to whet your appetite, Erin, as you had opened the door and this tall figure, similar build to you, dark hair, opened with blood dripping down his chest and just smiled at you. He turned and ran up the stairs.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah, there are a couple of things we could have done to stop him there.
So that's what he's trying to do. So you know that he's not there to like monologue or whatever, like to attack you at the doorstep. He wants to run away. So think about what you're going to do to him as
he would have got there. He would have got there. Erin's instant reaction would have been that inner beast, even if he's got rid of his inner beast, that inner beast was purring.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he would have gone for him straight away.
As a
before
bonus
he even
action, though,
turned.
as a bonus action, I can contact him telepathically and say that he's goading you and that may not be anyone's blood that you know.
I would have gone for a grapple. If
Okay.
he can break my grapple, he can run.
We'll pick it up there in a couple of weeks' time. Join us next week. Check us out on Twitter. We are at Crituitous RP. It's been a good night. See you guys later. Bye.
Right.